Anthony Richardson has signed a 4-year, $34 million guaranteed rookie contract with the Indianapolis Colts, just in time, too, as the team reports for training camp today in Westfield. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
You got it, Kurt, looking at southbound 65, south side, Crash at Thompson. After 465, right lane block slow to 465. Westbound 465 is stopped through Beach Grove because of traffic rerouting around the closure. That closure is supposed to start ending Thursday morning before rush hour. That's when they'll hopefully start bumping open the ramps. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? The insurance companies don't have the advantage of video proof that the Hammer may have. Call today or visit Video Road Proof, roadproof.wewin.com. I'm Matt Barrett with traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
I'm going to tell you something about Jay's Lobster and Fish Market there in the Garage Food Hall downtown in the Bottle Works District. I love their specialty lobster rolls, but I can't get enough of the lobster mac and cheese.
Have you had that lobster grilled cheese?
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable. It's mouth-watering.
Also in the Bottle Works District, Garage Food Hall, Palavano Cubano. Biggest, best Cuban sandwich in Indy.
Yes.
It's the perfect destination if you love delicious food. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
I really like our plumbers at Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. They know their lines. They know water lines, drain lines, clog lines, pickup lines. Okay, maybe in their younger days. When I was a kid, there was a game show on TV called What's My Line? Our plumbers would have been world champions. Along with Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing having the best plumbers around, they're also very nice, clean, and pleasant guys to have in your home. So the next time you have trouble in the kitchen, laundry, or bathroom, throw us a line at Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, 255-HEAT, where you can trust your flush to us.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Some areas of fog this morning, otherwise partly cloudy, hot and humid. Today's high around 90. Should be fairly quiet into the overnight, partly cloudy and stuffy, a low down to 70. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Mostly sunny, 73 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Lab Grown or Mined Diamond Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 25th. It is 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. You can find him on Twitter, Rob M. Kendall. You can find me there as well, Casey Daniels 317.
Well, look, and maybe this is because...
That was a silent what?
Well, I know.
You knew.
And maybe this is because I'm operating on about 4 hours sleep.
Oh, is the baby having party time last night?
Look, in my house now, between the hours of like midnight and 4 a.m., it is party central.
Yeah. And
there was no sign that was put up indicating that. Just one day about 4 weeks ago, poof.
Party time. Somebody wants some milk. Some formula.
Maybe it's because I'm operating on 4 hours sleep, but I am declaring today the day in which we call out people who lie out their backside.
Oh.
That is the theme of today's show, because we are going to show this to you throughout the course of this award-winning program at the national level, at the state level, and at the local level, where government at all levels, with not a second thought, will blatantly just lie to you. And it is so easily disprovable, and it takes minimal to any research to disprove the lie, and they don't care. Your government has absolutely zero, zilch, nothing, no respect for you whatsoever, because we keep letting them get away with it.
Absolutely, and the media doesn't call them out on it either. I thought we were going to introduce the new character in the Biden family crime syndicate drama. He's like a comic book character,
Yes.
right? With this name, Devin Archer.
There was a TV show years ago, right?
Called Archer?
Archer,
Yeah.
yes. It was on FX, and it used to be after one of the shows I watched. I don't know whether it was The Shield or Sons of Anarchy or The Americans, one of them. And I never watched it. It was a cartoon, but it was like a comedy cartoon spy drama something or other, right?
Well, we've got the main character right now. He's entering the fold. So he's one of Hunter Biden's former close associates. And this guy, he's expected to testify before Congress about at least 24 calls that then Vice President Joe Biden had with his son during business meetings with his overseas partners.
Yeah, and so we said today's show will be pointing out to you how government at all levels just lies to you and never ever thinks a single solitary thing about it. And we will start with the national level. We will start with the President of the United States. And this guy, this guy is not going to, just like the IRS tax whistleblowers yesterday, they're not going to, this guy's not going to say anything that you didn't already know if you have a single solitary ounce of common sense. Because the evidence is, it is just overwhelming that Joe Biden not only knew about his kids' business dealings, but that he was involved in making money. Just like the evidence was already overwhelming that Hunter Biden was involved in some really, really, really shady, awful, terrible stuff. And that's what the IRS whistleblowers did last week, was give you the intricate details of the stuff that you already knew. Everybody already knows Joe Biden was making money and using his kid, Hunter Biden, as the conduit to make money from foreign governments in a pay-for-play type of scheme.
Yeah, Joe Biden was the chairman of the board in this scenario, the big guy. So Devin Archer, I just imagine Chris Pine is Devin Archer in Archer. He sounds like a character. But he was subpoenaed on June 12th, and he is set to testify before the House Oversight Committee. I believe it's going to happen on Monday. He used to be good buddies with Hunter Biden. He was there for a lot of things, saw a lot of things. He's currently on his way to jail. So this guy, he's got nothing to lose. This is he's going to jail, something to do with some bond, and Hunter got off.
Yeah, well, of course he did, Casey.
Hunter didn't get in trouble for it, but this Devin Archer did. He's going to jail for it. So at this point, what does he have to lose? Absolutely nothing. So he's set to spill the beans.
You know, Homer Simpson once famously said, "Everybody's stupid but me." And in the case of Hunter Biden, everyone's guilty but me. Like all of these people around him are complete scumbags.
Yeah.
And so this guy, Devin Archer, is going to testify to at least 24 phone calls that Joe Biden was a part of with Hunter Biden. Now, when we talk about people lying out their backside to you, the American public, Joe Biden has been doing this for years, despite the preponderance of the evidence, the overwhelming cavalcade of evidence showing that this guy not only knew about what his kid was doing, but he was involved and profiteering off of it. Let's go back to 2019. Joe Biden campaigning for president, and a very angry Joe Biden screaming at Peter Doocy of Fox News because he had the audacity to ask this very question.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business.
And so how do you know?
Let's talk about, here's what I know. I know Trump deserves to be investigated. He is violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question, why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader, if that's what happened? That appears what happened. You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum. And he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me. Everybody looked at this, and everybody's looked at it and said there's nothing there. Ask the right question.
He's pointing at Peter Doocy. Didn't anybody ever tell him? That's rude. Don't do that. He's so mad.
Everything they accused, and look, I get it. I get why people have stayed with Trump. I think it's an egregious mistake, and I think it's going to cost the Republicans the presidency, and it's going to cost this nation big time. But I get why people stay with Trump, because everything they have accused Trump of doing, Joe Biden actually did.
Yeah. What did he say? That Trump was trying to persuade this guy from Ukraine? That's exactly what he did.
Yes, Trump asked them to investigate the stuff that Joe Biden did because Joe Biden did the stuff. All right, that's not enough for you, Casey.
No.
Here's Biden also campaigning for president. I believe this was in early 2020, And this is a very famous clip now, not for, I mean, it should be famous for the fact that Joe Biden is lying again about his association with his son and his business dealings. But this was very famous because he calls the guy fat and challenges him to a push-up contest after lying in his answer.
We had no experience in that, so nothing. In order to get access to the public, for the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he is. So
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has done that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. If you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take it on Number two. No one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it.
The only thing he wasn't lying about is when he said, I've been around for a long time.
He called the guy fat and challenged him to a push-up contest and then lied. What? I mean, look, even if you want to live in this delusional fantasy world where Joe Biden didn't know about Hunter's business dealings and wasn't making money, let's just pretend you can still suspend disbelief and get yourself to that point. Well, we now know he lied about Hunter Biden not doing anything wrong because clearly, even though he got the sweetest of sweetheart deals ever, Hunter Biden pled guilty.
And apparently there was this meeting with the Bidens and the Biden business associates in a private restaurant in a back room, and this Devin Archer was there for those meals.
But it's the same way Bob Alinsky was there. We knew this 3 years ago. It's all the stuff that was on the laptop. It's all true. It was true then. It was true now. And the government conspired with social media companies and news networks to cover it up to get this guy elected president of the United States.
Well, and the question is, why is this taking so long? They know that this is happening. It's time to impeach. Do something. And I feel like Comer and the gang, they're waiting. They have to have all their ducks in a row because they know that the government, it's been weaponized.
Oh, Casey, you're counting on the Republicans to do something and grow a pair and actually do the right thing.
I actually am. I am counting on
Casey,
that.
Casey, you're so lovable.
But clearly, of course, standing behind the podium in the White House press room, Karine Jean-Pierre, she's going to tell the truth, right?
Absolutely, right? So she got asked about this yesterday, and she reaffirms the ridiculous assertion that Biden was never in business with his son.
Chairman James Comer today says that the Oversight Committee, has evidence that the president in the past communicated directly with foreign business associates of his son Hunter Biden many times. Curious if the White House and the president still stand behind his comment that he's never been involved and has never even spoken to his son about his business.
So I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same. The president was never in business with his son. I just don't have anything else to add.
Okay, so you notice there is a very important twist on this now.
Spoken to versus in business with.
Yeah, now it was, I know nothing. I've never talked to him about that. I have no idea. Now it's, he was never in business with this, which is also bullcrap.
Right.
I mean, there's definitive evidence that he absolutely was, but notice how that is just very quietly, the phraseology is switched now.
Yes, of course. Well, Representative Jason Smith, he says Biden family's business dealings stink to high heaven.
It's the Biden family global business peddling, basically, who can call the vice president, bring him up. It's so alarming that we have seen the recording where President Biden said that he would not send the money to Ukraine unless they fired the prosecutor, and this was all within just months of the time frame. It stinks to high heaven.
All right, I was going to do liar number 2, which is Eric Holcomb when we come back, but I'm going to need more time than we have in the next segment. So when we come back, can we talk about Trump really wanting to go on Rogan and Rogan wanting no part of it?
Yep, it's on the way with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another news update is minutes away.
Helicopter crashed in Alaska.
Get the facts.
One of the victims is from Indiana.
Not just the talking
The
points.
Biden administration has inserted cultural issues into the military.
When events happen.
Out-of-control driver smashed into multiple vehicles on the corner of Arlington Avenue and Washington Street.
We'll happen to be there.
Back-to-back wins for Joseph Newgard.
On the level. On the go. 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana State Fair, where you can get a taste, step back in time, ride to your heart's content, sing along, and of course see the animals up close and personal. Save big with discount tickets available now at IndianaStateFair.com through July 27th. Your Indiana State Fair, celebrating the state that grew the game. Presented by Pacer Sports and Entertainment. July 28th through August 20th. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. So much fun, you won't want to be done.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Find special savings on top brands like DeWalt. Right now, save $60 when you buy a DeWalt impact driver or drill for just $99 each. Plus, MVP's Pro Rewards members will earn 3 times the bonus points when shopping the Pro Zone. Shop in-store and online today. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. DeWalt offer valid 7/17 through 8/2. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 7/28. Subject to change.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-339-3838. 800-339-3838. That's 800-339-3838.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with that symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
I am just a poor boy, though my story.
Oh, Paul Simon says he's been experimenting with performing with his band again, even though he has total hearing loss in his left ear. Back in 2018, he did his farewell tour, but he did just release his 15th album.
Kev got totally clickbaited.
He did.
Because he was like, hey, I've heard Paul Simon is not doing well. And we're thinking like, oh my gosh, he's on death's door. Is this some breaking news that Paul Simon? And you did a just cursory Google search and you said, no, he's just having some trouble with his hearing.
His hearing loss.
Yeah, I've always been a sucker for that stuff.
Don't fall for the clickbait, Kevin.
Kevin's the guy that reads an article, gets to the end of the article, and there's always that like headline that says, Pamela Anderson walked past Brad Pitt. You won't believe what happened next.
What do these stars look like now?
Clearly, there will now be 33 viruses on your work computer, Kev.
I appreciate him trying to help, though. He thought he was on to something, and he was wanting to give us the information.
Well, I was concerned.
Yeah, we had to do a double check, and he still has hearing loss, so that is a thing, but I think he's still with us.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Paul Simon, I think, is largely overrated. However, I will say that Mother and Child Reunion is a strong song.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also say Paul Simon, part of one of the top 5 moments in Saturday Night Live history, very early on in the show when he went out in a turkey suit and sang Still Crazy after all these years.
You have to finish watching The Graduate one of these days.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
You got to see the whole thing through.
There are so many other things I would rather watch ahead of that I don't have time to do.
Okay. Hey, coming up later in the hour, or maybe next hour, rather, we have your chance to win some tickets to the Indiana State Fair.
Tell me more.
Family 4-pack.
Oh, how exciting.
You would only need 3 of those.
I could scalp the other one.
Right, exactly. But we've got your chance to win coming up with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Okay, do you want to talk about what's going on with Donald Trump and Joe Rogan?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
All right. So apparently, Donald Trump, he wants to go on the Joe Rogan show. And who's more powerful in media these days? Nobody, right?
Well,
Joe Rogan?
Isn't this interesting that there was an article out and it appeared in a variety of news outlets that said Trump desperately wants to get on Rogan's podcast because because he has so alienated even traditional conservative news outlets like Fox, he's run out of places to kind of get a message out, and he's looking for new ways to get his message out. And he said, well, look, as you said, Rogan is the most popular podcaster in the world. 11
million listeners for each of his episodes.
I always think of him as the guy who was the janitor on talk radio, which was a short-lived sitcom on NBC. Phil Hartman was kind of the star of it, even though he wasn't the main character. Dave Foley was the main character. But Rogan was the wild and wacky janitor guy. And look at him now. He is he is one of the 3 or 4 most important media people in the entire country, which is crazy to say.
Now, I think this is all a game at this point. Trump was shaking his hand at that UFC fight recently, and they're making moves towards each other. Who needs who more in this scenario? Joe Rogan, he would be okay to have Trump on. Trump obviously wants his 11 million listeners. So I think it's a good match. They're just playing each other right now because Rogan wants to come off as bipartisan.
That would break the internet because Rogan's getting 11 million when he's interviewing some guy about UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting that week to week. If he had Trump, he would probably easily eclipse 50 million listeners if he was able to get Trump on an actual podcast. Now, Rogan plays the game well, right? He's a provocateur, he's an entertainer, he's a showman, and he actually spoke about this earlier this year, and he is doing a great job. This was the Lex Friedman podcast saying he don't want any part of Trump.
I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help him. I'm not interested. If I have him on, the night is still young. You think I'll have him on?
I think you'll have him on.
Really? Yeah. Why do you think that? Because you'll have Putin on?
And you're competitive as fuck. No. I think ultimately, you've had a lot of people that I think you may otherwise be skeptical. Would I have a good conversation? Which I think is your metric. You don't care about politics, so can I have a good conversation? And I think you had people like Kanye on, for example, and you had a great conversation with him. I think but
Kanye is an artist. But Kanye doing well or not doing well doesn't change the course of our country.
But you don't. Do you really bear the responsibility of the course of our country based on a conversation?
I think you can revitalize and rehabilitate someone's image in a way that is pretty shocking.
I think he'll have him on.
I think he will too.
Yeah,
absolutely,
this is just
without a doubt.
Cat and mouse game at this point.
Without a doubt, absolutely. There's no way he's going to pass up because I think he will again. I think he will get 50 million listeners if he has Trump on his podcast.
Yeah, and he wants that.
Yeah.
And Trump wants to be on it.
Yeah.
They're just playing right now.
All right, theme for the show today is government people who lie out their backside and it is easily disprovable, and they simply don't care because they don't fear you at all. But a guy who will never lie to us is Kurt Darling, and he has the news coming up next.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Hey, Rob, did you know that our national debt is now more than $32 trillion, trillion with a T?
Yes, Casey, gosh darn it, I do, because we talk about that almost every day on this show.
You know what the government's going to do next? They're going to keep spending trillions of dollars they don't have.
What? No way.
Oh, yeah, that's what they do. And then they're going to turn right around and make you pay for it by raising your taxes.
Lady, you get out of here with that garbage. Hey, it's
true.
Kendall and Casey. You know we don't have to just sit here and take it, which is what we spend like 90% of our show telling you. Discover how you could dramatically reduce your taxes in retirement with a tax reduction analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. If you've saved at least $200,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912.
If you take advantage of some simple tax planning strategies now, you could save a bundle in taxes when you retire. That number, 317-932-9912, 317-932-9912.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Hydrate and use sunscreen. It's 75 and sunny in downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Just a couple of things that you'll probably need to do this week as temperatures increase.
We're going to see a warming trend as the week goes on. Today, we're going to see a high temperature near 89 under sunny skies.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. Later in the week, he says we'll reach the mid to upper 90s in some places, and there's a strong chance for severe weather as well. Talks will resume today between UPS and Teamsters in hopes of agreeing on a new contract. The current agreement expires July 31st, and the union is already set to strike. Several large companies that utilize UPS have notified customers this week that there may be shipping delays. Gas prices have gone up again.
U.S. demand is high and stocks are low.
Trilby Lundberg with the Lundberg Survey says that there is less oil production coming from places like Russia and Saudi Arabia within OPEC. And now the stock report on 93 WIBC, and we are a mixed bag to start the day. The Dow is down 18 points to 35,392. The Nasdaq is up 46 points to 14,105, and the S&P 500 is down a point to 4,553. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Summer's in Indy, and since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Life's full of unexpected joys, like problems with water. That's why there's Michaelis, a crew of 24/7 experts who are rescue ready, day or night. One phone call for a gazillion disasters, from frozen pipes and sewer backups to your teenager pleading ignorance on the proper use of a plunger. At Michaelis, they know that water damage waits for no one. Their fleet of trucks is, well, fleet. Over 3 decades of finding the source of the problem, then cleaning up, drying out, and restoring your home or business to better the new condition. That's Michaelis, fully licensed and insured, and fully empathetic to your anxiety, including dealing with insurance claims. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is 9:34. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Mitt Romney has been encouraging lost cause candidates.
boy, look in the mirror, buddy.
Yeah, to leave. So who is he talking about? If I'm Mitt Romney and I'm saying lost cause candidates, they need to get lost. Number one would be Mike Pence on my list.
Yeah, you bet.
And then you've got Nikki Haley, who's been trying for a really long time, still isn't making any moves. You've got, what's that one guy's name? Doug Bergman? Berman? How do we say his name? That's how lost cause he is. Burgum.
Yeah.
There it is. Chris Christie, would he be on this list? I think what you're looking at now at this point would be Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott.
Yeah, and
the rest can.
And Romney's argument is that if you make it through the first couple primaries and it's clear that you have no chance to actually win, you got to get out because you staying in will hurt Trump. Now, again, I find this hilarious that Romney is concerned about lost cause candidates. Do you remember his 2012 campaign? Talking about a lost cause candidate, totally 100% in the dictionary, Mitt Romney. So, look, Romney hates Trump. Romney is about the last guy I would want as the spokesperson if you're trying to speak to people and say, hey, this ding dong, if you're in here and you're hanging on, you're a ding dong and you're just costing the people votes, you might have a chance to beat Trump. Romney's like the worst guy, but there is some merit to what he's saying. If indeed you fear Trump being the nominee, having 9 guys getting 3%, that's not going to do anything for you.
They're all going to split it.
Which is exactly what happened in 2016. Now, coming up in a little bit later in the show, Casey, I want to get to what a just lying, just what a horrible person our governor is. He is just lying with just no regard for the 7 million people in this state whatsoever about what he said about Curtis Hill back in 2018.
He's backpedaling now.
Eric Holcomb is a shameless, pathetic person. But you have tickets to give away.
Yeah, Indiana State Fair. We have a family 4-pack right now with the Kendall and Casey Show. Caller number 317-239-9393. Kevin is sitting by waiting to hear from you.
We're taking caller 3.
317-239-9393. If you want to go to the Indiana State Fair and check out the buffalo pork and mac, or maybe the flaming hot Cheeto corn in a cup, how about the Indiana hardwood nachos?
You go with Kevin, his van.
Hey, good luck. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Hunter Biden is a grifter. But now we've got even more to demand investigations. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
I feel bad for the Johnson kids next door. Their parents just use their phone for home internet. So when everyone's online, it could be mad slow. Tom can barely play a full round of Horse Commander 3. Luckily, we get fast and reliable internet from Xfinity, so I can game while everyone's on with basically no interruptions.
Hey, Jess, can I, borrow some eggs?
You want a game here?
Please.
Now through September 21st, new customers can get 75 megabit internet and 1 line of unlimited mobile together for just $50 a month for 12 months with no annual contract from Xfinity, home of the 10G network. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
There's no hiding from Bluebell Monster Cookie Dough Ice Cream. Creamy vanilla ice cream, peanut butter monster cookie dough, brown sugar, candy-coated chocolate, and dark chocolate flavored chunks. It tastes so good, you'll need a bigger bowl.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at all Meijer stores.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation with a few words about summer. Searing, scorching, sweating, sweltering, blazing, blistering, burning, baking, feeling the heat, are we? High temps aren't the only thing getting you hot under the collar. Wait till you see your energy bills and your AC repair bills. The solution? I recommend my friends at Window Nation for new energy-efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool. Your energy bill sinks as low as it could go, and your AC will avoid any premature breakdown.
And not to mention the incredible savings Window Nation is offering right now. With every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 free windows. Plus, you'll put 0 down, make 0 payments with 0 interest for 24 months. This could be thousands of dollars in savings. So, maintain your chill, lower your bill, and get your home filled with new Window Nation windows. Buy 2, get 2 for free. Pay nothing for 2 years. Call now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. Rob Casey's here. Let's go to the Drive. Hubler.com hotline. Joined by the conservative voice of the state of Indiana, Micah Beckwith joins us now. All right, Beckwith, I was perusing your Micah for Lieutenant Governor Facebook page, and I about keeled over dead because you are a person running for public office, and you have sent out a press release condemning taxes in the state of Indiana. I didn't think that was allowed in the Republican Party these days. The floor is yours.
Well, I don't know if it's allowed in the Republican Party, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I think the biggest thing that I hear when I'm on the campaign trail is people saying fix the property tax nonsense that's going on in our state. Assessments are going through the roof. People are losing their home. Literally, I was talking to my neighbor even the other day. Like, lovely lady. She's single. She's probably in her early 60s. She was saying to me, she said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford to stay here if my assessments keep going up and my property taxes I have to pay more in taxes every year. And that's the thing that breaks my heart. There are so many Hoosiers right now that have worked hard, paid off their houses, and now they're being forced by the government to pay more in taxes. They may lose their property because of that. And I would make the argument when I'm on the campaign trail, is it really your property if you have to pay the government to stay there? And I would say, no, it's not. So there's some great fixes that I've laid out that I think we could do, but we've got to fix this for Hoosiers.
Why do your friends in the Indiana Republican Party not care about people being able to stay in their homes? Because you're about the only one who seems to care, including most of the people running for governor.
Well, I think it's the classic, it's not my fault, it's their fault. And then you go to that person and they're saying, no, it's not my fault, it's their fault, right? And so it's they're always pointing the finger somewhere else, and that's pretty typical in politics. And so the problem that you run into a lot of times if you want to curtail property tax assessments and limit property taxes, you're going to hear from the teachers unions. They're going to start screaming bloody murder because they aren't going to get their really nice football stadium or their really nice basketball court or whatever else. Like they're not going to be able to just throw money at the local schools. And right now we've been living in this kind of lie of a world that says we've got to have really, really nice, luxurious schools or else people won't want to move to our towns, which I think is complete crap. I think it's education is teaching kids how to read and write and understanding history. I think if you have good teachers who apply those standards, you will have people moving into your towns. You don't have to have the most luxurious, Carmel-esque, school in the country.
He went right at Carmel. I love it. I'm already voting for you. You have my vote. It's fine. It's great. I'm done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Casey.
Micah, we have a new employee who just started, and we asked him where he was from, what his deal was, his life story, and he said, well, I'm from Carmel. I'm sorry. Don't hold that against me. Like, you don't have to apologize, buddy. It's okay. Hey, I'm wondering if you saw the new poll from CNBC. It says that Indiana is the 7th worst state to live and work in, yet one of the best states for business. Is our state too friendly to businesses and not so friendly to Hoosiers who live here?
Well, I think that's kind of been the downfall of the Republican Party. If I can be critical of my own party, I will be. And that's,
you can.
Please
go.
We'll
Keep going.
You've
got as much time as you need. Go.
Well, I think we pander and we bend the knee to the corporate CEO types that really don't care about the employee. They care about themselves and they care about mooching off of the taxpayer dime. And so I think we can do both. We can make it very good to do business for the CEO types and the businesses to move to Indiana, while at the same time protect the workers and make sure that people are actually getting an honest wage. And I think you do that by incentivizing. You incentivize business. You incentivize people to come and live here, like lowering property taxes, making sure that people can afford to be here and have nice things and go on vacations and put their kids in good schools. I mean, that's how you incentivize good pro-worker environments, not by paying the Salesforce CEO, bending your knee to him and saying, please don't ever leave Indiana. I think we gotta hold those guys, their feet to the fire. And they don't actually even, like the Salesforce CEO, he does not espouse the Indiana values. I mean, the guy's a leftist from California. The guy doesn't care about Indiana values and what made this state a great place to live in to begin with. So I think we got to stop pandering and being afraid of those CEO types and stand up for the real people of Indiana, the hardworking Hoosiers.
Micah Beckwith is our guest. All right, let's talk about the governor, shall we? Can we just take a few moments to do that?
The floor is yours. We got all day.
Well, I'm not going to say he's a revisionist a-hole who is trying to change the things he said in the past, but he's a revisionist a-hole who's trying to change the things he said in the past. And I'm talking about, so WIBC ran this story, and Holcomb is still refusing to endorse anyone in the governor's race. That's, of course, the giant middle finger to Suzanne Crouch, which I think is great. However, I did want to read you the quote he said about Curtis Hill, and he's just lying. He's just flat out lying, and he said, quote, I said that if someone in my office with those accusations were to be true, they would have to step down, and so I remain consistent in that, he said. That is the furthest thing from what he said. I went, and it took about 3 seconds for me to find a story in Indy Star in which about 7 seconds after the accusations were made against Curtis Hill, he, along with Bosma and David Long and Connie Lawson and Silent Suzanne and the rest of the Good Time Fun gang demanded his resignation. He is flat out lying about what he said about Curtis Hill, and for some reason, the media allows him to get away with it. Not here. I know you're buddies with Curtis. The floor is yours.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, it was absolutely Governor Holcomb and his team around him that were calling for Curtis's resignation. And the only reason they were doing that is not because they wanted to seek justice. And if they did, they would have presumed his innocence first and then said, let's play it out and see what happens. And then they would have come to the conclusions of hey, resignation or whatever. But no, they jumped right to the conclusion of he needs to resign. And it was because Curtis was fighting against them. He wasn't going to take their crap. And I think one of the biggest embarrassments of the Holcomb kind of regime, if you will, over the last 6-7 years has been the 2018 convention, where they tried to remove traditional marriage from the Republican Party platform as a standard of marriage that we believe and we follow in the Republican Party. And Curtis Hill, along with State Treasurer Daniel Elliott, they stood up to the Holcombs and the Kyle Hupferts of the world who wanted to take this party down a leftist path and say, because Governor Holcomb thinks that he can just build a strong economic house with no moral foundations, no faith and family foundations. And that's absolutely wrong. That's untrue. You can't do that. And so when Curtis Hill stood up against him in 2018, it was an embarrassment. I mean, he won. Curtis won that fight big time. The delegates patently rejected what the Holcomb camp was trying to do with the removing traditional marriage from the platform. And it was an embarrassment. And so then it was a few short months after that where you see all these allegations come out, and then they were calling for his resignation. I think it was really it was vindictive. I think they were going after him.
The governor of the state, and okay, so it's hop in here, but I just can't say this any more clearly, and we talked about it earlier in the show. The governor of the state is lying to 7 million people. He knows exactly what he said. He knows exactly what he did. It took me 3 seconds to find it on a Google search. It was a big article in Indy Star. Nikki Kelly from Capitol Chronicle got in on the thread on Twitter that we had about it. She threw it right up there. He knows what he said, and these guys are such narcissistic sociopaths that they lie to people, and for some reason, the media lets them get away with it.
That's true.
Well,
I don't disagree with that.
Doesn't this go right back exactly to what we were just talking about with this CNBC poll that says Indiana's great for businesses, but not for Hoosiers? Eric Holcomb is setting the state up so much for the businesses, but not the people who actually work here.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I said. I think the mindset in the Indianapolis Republican crowd, the elite ruling class, is that we can just make it really good for the CEO types of the world, and they'll come to Indiana. That'll bring jobs, and then everything will be great. No, every foundation of every good society to live in has always been rooted in the faith and family kind of strong traditional values that will birth a strong economic house. But they think they can remove the foundations of the faith and family traditions and then still have a strong economic house, and it's not going to work. And so again, I think that's just it's just a warped worldview that they have, and I think they really believe what they're doing is best for Hoosiers. But I just think they're wrong.
Micah Beckwith, our guest. I'm very excited. I said this last week about this Brad Chambers guy getting in running for governor. He's formerly Holcomb's stooge over there at the Economic Development Corporation. And I am excited because I believe he will pull votes from Suzanne Crouch, which means now that there's 6 people running for governor, there's a world where 20% gets you across the finish line in a primary. And in that world, I believe Curtis Hill can get 20%. And so I believe in an existence where I might wake up someday in June and Curtis Hill is the Republican nominee for governor and you are the nominee for lieutenant governor. And gosh darn it, I know the establishment would just hate that more than anything. And that would just make me happy beyond belief.
Well, it's true. I've said the more people that get in this race, the better it is for Curtis. Now, I think you mentioned it earlier, Governor Holcomb did not endorse Suzanne Crouch. Suzanne Crouch, I've talked to her, she very much does not necessarily want Governor Holcomb's endorsement.
Why? She loves him. Yeah. She gave him millions of dollars. Mike, if someone gave you millions of dollars, you like that person a whole bunch.
I think Suzanne has really I think she's gotten frustrated with Holcomb just like all of us have, because he vetoed the women's sports bill. That drove her nuts. I know that for fact. And then he's done a lot of things that I think you and I have, we've talked about. Suzanne doesn't like what he's done. And so I think she's trying to distance herself from him to say, hey, I am not Holcomb 2.0. I'm actually going to fight a lot harder for the traditional values of Hoosiers. Now, whether or not she can do that that's yet to be seen. But to your point, if Brad Chambers gets in, it's only going to hurt Braun, Crouch, and probably a little bit of Eric Doden too, just because it's going to pull that establishment vote a lot more into the Chambers camp, and Curtis could have a pathway for sure.
Well, okay, so then to quote the guy in The Wizard of Oz, well, why didn't you say so? That's a horse of a different color. If she's so against all the stuff Holcomb did, why hasn't she ever said anything? Anything. That woman has said nothing. And yet she's supposed to be against all the stuff Holcomb's done. Why hasn't she ever said anything?
Oh, my God.
Does she not know she can speak? Does she not have a voice? Does she not know how to use her lungs and to produce sound from her throat box? Why doesn't she ever say anything?
That's hilarious. Casey, did you want to chime in here? It sounded like you were...
I just want, if you could only see the veins popping out of his forehead right now.
I just don't get it. I'm against all the things Holcomb's doing. Well, you're the lieutenant governor. Why didn't you say so? Nah.
Well, so I think this is the typical Republican mindset for many years. It's not just Suzanne. I see this throughout the entire party. It's Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak ill of a fellow Republican. Mm-hmm. And a lot of old school Republicans still really live and die by that motto. They say, hey, we will never, ever, 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 ever call out another Republican. And I like the idea of that. The problem is, though, you've gotten the Mitch McConnell types who have used that and abuse that privilege of Republicans being unified in public, and then they go out and they do things that like Democrats do, right? And then they'd say, oh, you can't call me out because the 11th commandment, we don't call fellow Republicans out, when in reality, you're not even a Republican. You're a rhino, you're a Democrat, you're just masquerading as a Republican, and they'll abuse that privilege of Republicans being unified together. And so I think that's probably the mindset of a lot of Republicans. I'm not saying that's Suzanne's mindset. I'm just saying I see that a lot with Republicans, where they say, well, I can't call him out publicly because he's a fellow Republican, which I totally reject that. I think that even more so, you have to call them out publicly, because we need to make sure we protect the principles of the party. And in order to do that, you have to call out the Republicans who aren't adhering to the principles of the party.
All right. They are giving me a signal here. They're about to assassinate me if I ask you another question, because we've gone on so long. If people would like to learn more about you and read about your plan on property taxes, how can they do that?
Yeah, go to MicahBeckwith.com, and you can follow me on social media, Micah Beckwith for Indiana, and hit me up, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Micah Beckwith, you're the best. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thanks, guys.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Suzanne, you have a voice. Use it.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family heating and air.
We set out to be the very best of the best, and past couple years we've actually achieved that. For all of the state of Indiana, we've been awarded the Dealer of the Year award twice now. Unlike other brands, that only gets handed to one dealer every year, and we're very proud to have won that twice.
Put the best to work for you at FamilyHVAC.net. Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The U.S. home price index is on the rise and interest rates are stabilizing. The market is turning more seller-friendly. If you've been waiting, now may be the best time to sell your home. Find out with the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a lowball instant offer. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Kevin and Lori in Monon had to say about working with Mark Dietl. Our family was growing and our house was too small. We found a bigger home, but we needed to sell our current home for top dollar to afford the bigger place. The Mark Dietl team made it happen. Our old home sold in 7 days, but they made sure we closed on both houses in the same day. Amazing. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietl.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Let us send you your home's value today. Go to HoosierHomeValues2023.com from Crossroads Collective, title sponsor of the First Day, Sundays 11 to 1.
Hey, it's Casey. Have you noticed the concrete around your house? I'm talking about maybe in the garage, the pool deck, the driveway, even the porch or patio, looking a little gray and dull. Do you know that Galaxy Concrete Coating can make it so much better? They'll lay down this coating 4 times stronger than epoxy, dries really fast, has a strong hold, the color's not going to fade, and it's easy to clean. Oh, and by the way, it looks great too. Call them in Fishers, 317-751-9070. Get yourself a free quote. By the way, Galaxy Concrete Coating, not as expensive as you might think. They're online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. They're taking concrete out of this world.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
4 races, 3 days. The stars of NASCAR and IndyCar return for Brickyard Weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Friday, August 11th, the next generation of Indy Next by Firestone takes to the road course. Saturday features the NTT IndyCar Series Gallagher Grand Prix, followed by the NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 150 presented by Advance Auto Parts. Then Sunday the 13th, the NASCAR Cup Series takes on the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. Power, speed, precision, and family friendly. Kids under 15 get in free. Tickets at IMS.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and summertime's a great time to upgrade your water equipment, and C&J Water has some great upgrade specials right now. Upgrade to a twin tank softener and get a free reverse osmosis drinking water unit. Right now, you can also save 15% on any water quality equipment at C&J. Ultraviolet systems, iron and sediment systems, single tank softeners, and reverse osmosis units. Such a deal. C&J really does install the best of the best. So call C&J for yours today. Call 317-733-SOFT or cnjwater.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, sweltering conditions are on the way this week. Plus, experts weigh in on a referee shortage after a fight at a youth basketball tournament in Indiana this past weekend, and a look at gas prices with John Herrick. I'm Kurt Darling. All that and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He's number 7. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Doug Burgum has just qualified to be on stage for the first Republican presidential debate. North Dakota's governor told Fox the other day.
We know that our economy is crawling when it should be sprinting. We know that red tape is choking small businesses. And these are things that affect them. They want someone who's going to fight for them and their issues.
Burgum met the polling criteria today to qualify for next month's debate. He's already had the number required of campaign donors, something ex-Vice President Mike Pence has fallen short of so far. 6 other candidates have qualified, though former President Trump has suggested he may skip the debate. Ron DeSantis is one of the 6 who've qualified, and Florida's governor had a little drama in Tennessee this morning. A fender bender. The car he was in got into an accident on the way to a Chattanooga event, but DeSantis was not injured. House Republicans keep turning up the heat on President Biden. Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells Fox,
"This is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry."
Things are progressing quickly as we learn Hunter Biden's former business associate and Burisma board member Devin Archer will sit for a transcribed interview next week before the House Oversight Committee. And the New York Post says Archer plans to testify that Joe Biden attended Hunter's business meetings in person and on speakerphone up to 24 times while he was vice president.
Fox's Brooks Singman. The White House says the president was never in business with his son. Tomorrow, Hunter Biden will plead guilty to 2 tax evasion misdemeanors. House Republicans plan to question, perhaps in September. The U.S. attorney leading that investigation after 2 IRS whistleblowers testified there was political interference hampering the probe. Russia has taken aim at U.S. military drone over Syria yet again. A fighter jet fired flares at it,
severely damaging the propeller in the hit. Military officials say the drone was on a counterterrorism mission against the Islamic State group. The crew operating the drone was able to fly back to its home base.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You may want to loosen that shirt collar. It's 77 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. That's because it's going to get hot this week, the hottest it's been all year. The National Weather Service says that you'll see highs reach the mid to upper 90s at times, with heat indexes reaching over 100. They say there is also a small chance for severe weather, mainly in northern parts of the state. There was a fight at a youth basketball tournament in Shelby County over the weekend. A referee took a hand to the face from an athlete. It was all caught on video, and it highlights the ever-present problem of officials taking abuse, says Kevin Lewis with the Indiana Officials Association.
Very disturbing and needs to be controlled. It's getting worse and worse.
And it's not only basketball, it's baseball, other sports too.
On Wish TV, he says that they are considering lobbying lawmakers to make verbally and physically abusing a referee a felony in Indiana. Gas prices have gone up again.
And there are a couple of reasons behind that. I'm John Herrick.
U.S. demand is high and stocks are low.
Trilby Lundberg, publisher of the Lundberg Survey, says there's less oil production as well, coming from places like Russia and Saudi Arabia within OPEC. Many gas stations across Indiana had increases to as high as $3.75 a gallon Monday afternoon. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
When it comes to organ donation, your Senator Todd Young blames organizations like United Network for Organ Sharing for mismanaging the system.
What is different is UNOS has had a monopoly. And we don't allow monopolistic behavior in other areas, but we have allowed it far too long in this area.
He says the system needs to be revamped. 2 Indiana basketball coaches will be helping Team USA compete on the world stage. The men's national team will be competing in the FIBA World Cup next month, with Pacers assistant coach Jim Boylan and Purdue head coach Matt Painter serving as assistant coaches under Team USA head coach Steve Kerr. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-646-7049 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-646-7049. That's 800-646-7049. What do you have to lose? Call 800-646-7049. Again, 800-646-7049.
This summer of fun is brought to you by Citizens Energy Group, reminding listeners to water their lawn only twice a week. Get more info at citizensenergygroup.com/waterwise. That's citizensenergygroup.com/waterwise.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 25th. It is 5 minutes after 10. This is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. You can find him on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. You can find me there as well, Casey Daniels 317. You can find us both on YouTube right now. Type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. So we started the show at 9 o'clock by introducing the latest character in the Biden family crime syndicate drama. His name is Devin Archer. And now we would like to introduce you to a world-renowned artist. His name, Hunter Biden. He sold some of his artwork. You've heard that. He sold it for a lot of money. But who did he sell it to? Oh, just a Democratic donor who paid a lot of money.
So Business Insider has the exclusive on this. And the theme for today's show, Casey, is government officials who look you in the eye and lie to you, and they don't think twice about doing it. Last hour, we laid out Joe Biden now, based on this Devin Archer testimony that's going to come later this week, very clearly, not that you needed any further proof, but very clearly it's going to be, just made, again, I did the Austin Powers thing, very clearly it's made abundantly clear. It's going to be made abundantly clear to anyone who was still living on Fantasy Island that Joe Biden wasn't involved, that there were more than 24 business-related phone calls between Hunter and Joe Biden. And the next in a line of lies that are being easily disproved was Hunter Biden has no idea who's buying this art. We don't know who's buying this art. There's a firewall put in place. Nobody knows. And of course, now, according to Business Insider, that has been proven to be complete bullcrap. It is this high-ranking Democrat official, and it's just another example of, just a bunch of sociopathic liars these people are, and how they are screwed this country for their own enrichment. They continue to screw this country for their own enrichment, and they don't care at all. They are totally they are without remorse for what they do on a daily basis.
Okay, so they're saying that the buyers of Hunter Biden's artwork are Elizabeth Hirsch Naftali and also Kevin Morris. And together, collectively, they have purchased Hunter Biden's artwork for $1.3 million. Hey, I'll give the Bidens this much credit, okay? Art is subjective, and what a great way to avoid the IRS.
Well, and so I said Democrat official, I meant Democrat donor. So this lady, Elizabeth Hirsch Naftali, you know when somebody's got three names, it's a giant red flag. Has given $13,414 to the Biden campaign and $29,700 to the Democratic National Campaign Committee this year, according to Business Insider.
She also hosted a fundraiser for Kamala.
Yeah. They lied, right? There is no firewall. They knew who was buying this. You're absolutely right, Casey. It is another way to funnel money to the Biden family. This is a guy who, if you hung his art at the art shop in Broad Ripple, it would sit for months if you put a $60 price tag on it, and yet somehow magically, well, voila, the guy's getting $500,000 a painting.
Okay, so this woman, she purchased his artwork for $875,000. $875,000 for Hunter Biden's artwork. Now, here's the thing. If it goes down with the Bidens like it should, she may be onto something, because eventually that artwork may actually be worth. She was appointed to the Preservation of America's Heritage, this high-level appointment that Joe Biden gave her right around the time that she turned over $875,000 for Hunter's artwork.
And look, credit to the Business Insider, random, confused, accidental act of journalism, really digging down deep into this. They are often a more left publication than right, but in this case, they absolutely did great work on this. And again, it is the theme of the show today. They being the Bidens, know exactly who is buying that art. They knew exactly who was purchasing it. Everybody knows what it was being purchased for. And again, with just no hesitation whatsoever, they will look you in the eye and they will lie to you.
Okay, let's talk about what's going on with the IRS. They are going to ban the act of showing up to people's houses unannounced. This was an immediate policy change. Now you're thinking, wow, fantastic. So they're not going to come knock on my door anymore. This is not for you. This is accidental freedom for you. This is 100% to protect the IRS employees.
Okay, so I say this as someone who grew up in a household of a federal law enforcement official whose job it was to show up to people's homes unannounced. Mm-hmm. And in that case, it was because he was dealing with some of the worst our society had to offer, very dangerous, violent people who were often prone to reoffend. So in that case, you wouldn't want to announce, hey, Pally, I'm going to show up and see if you're breaking the law.
I'm on my way. I'm just down the street.
But in the case of the IRS, what possible reason, other than fear and intimidation and some sort of gotcha element of surprise, would there ever be to show up at someone's... Again, you're not talking about violent offenders in which large-scale damage to society or the safety of fellow humans is at risk. The only reason you would do this is to put your power pants on and try to be a tough guy and scare people, which I'm sure there's a lot of really nice people and really good people and really patriotic people who work for the IRS. But that is ridiculous that you would do that. Send a letter, clearly say, hey, we have this dispute or we have this disagreement or we're looking for more clarification. We seek, to converse with you about A, B, and C. Please let us know when would be a convenient time for you to do that. There is zero reason, unless you think Bernie Madoff is living in a community near you and actively defrauding people out of tens of millions of dollars, to show up as an IRS agent at someone's house unannounced.
Okay, so the IRS commissioner, he said, we're taking a fresh look at how the IRS operates to better serve taxpayers and the nation. and we're making this change as a common sense step. So they are replacing these unannounced visits. They're going to replace them with mailed letters, just like you suggested, to schedule meetings.
Yeah, I mean, come on, right? I mean, there is zero reason an IRS agent would be showing up at someone's house unannounced. Last I checked, IRS does not even have arrest power, right? I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. The IRS does not have the ability to actually go out with handcuffs and pull you in. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they do. I know a bunch of them are carrying weapons now. All of this could just simply be avoided if indeed you just send letters to people. And look, if they don't respond or they don't pay their taxes or somebody is scheming and scamming the U.S. government, there's ways to get them. That doesn't involve the IRS just showing up unannounced. What a dangerous thing to do to those people.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're stopped doing it now.
I mean, like, again, I just say from my own personal experience in which the person in my house who did that was highly trained in a field of dealing with the worst, most dangerous people among us. And that was petrifying for me every day, even though I know he knew what the hell he was doing. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine these regular IRS people and you showing up at the wrong person's house? What a despicable thing they were doing that to those people.
Yeah, they said last week the IRS had collected $38 million in tax debts in recent months. So, and that must explain why I always feel safe at your dad's house. Because he's prepared.
My favorite thing was Casey came over to my house one time and we went over to see my dad. And Casey's looking around and there's like 4 guns just in the living room alone. And she's like, I feel really safe.
I do. Well, because I did. I know he knows how to use those weapons. So that
would be an understatement.
That would explain why I felt safe there. Okay, last thing that I wanted to mention is that the United States now sending more money to Ukraine.
Well, gosh darn it, Casey! It'd been like 3 days since we'd done that. I'm glad we're back on the train.
Oh boy. Okay, so what is this? This is a $400 million package in additional military aid to Ukraine. And this package includes an array of ammunition. Ranges from missiles for the high mobility artillery rocket system, also advanced surface to air missile system and Stingers and Javelins. So we're just sending more stuff over to Ukraine. And my question is, when is this money train going to end?
Never. They've made it very clear. Little Todd Young, the Duke of Spendingburg, and his adult supervision, Mitch McConnell, on the Republican side have made it abundantly clear it's never ending. Obviously, Chuck Schumer totally invested in it never ending. The Republicans in the House of Representatives shot down an amendment that I believe was Thomas Massey had that would have mandated a strategy. We can't even get a strategy. We can't even get a plan. This is never stopping. It is never stopping because, look, I will give credit to our politicians. They are some of the most evil, awful people amongst us, yet they are, when it comes to manipulating the system, there is nobody smarter than these people. And they have now figured out we don't actually have to go to war to make our military industrial complex goons and cronies happy. We can just fund someone else's war and they still make basically the same amount of money, and we don't have people up our backside about soldiers dying. This is not stopping.
Okay, so I know that you're probably not keeping a tab on how much we've sent so far, so let me just help you out with that. $41 billion in military aid to Ukraine.
Yeah, and see
$41 billion.
Well, and then that is also misleading, though, because you've got all sorts of other aid and then munitions and everything else that has gone. I mean, you are well over $100 billion by the time you factor everything in, and it is never stopping, and they're not going to quit. And apparently the American people are okay with this just facade of crap being thrown at them.
And Mike Pence, who's out on the campaign trail, it keeps saying, we need to just keep sending more.
Here's the thing, though, Casey, and maybe I've been, you mentioned that, maybe I've been too hastily judged our involvement in Ukraine, because it is our involvement in Ukraine that did implode the 23-year con that is Mike Pence. And so for that is pretty much priceless to get Mike Pence out of public life and forever not to have to deal with him anymore. So maybe we got a good value. Maybe $100 billion to get rid of Mike Pence was quite the bargain.
You're saying that's the silver lining? Glad you found it. 17 minutes after 10, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another news update is minutes away.
A helicopter crashed in Alaska.
Get the facts.
One of the victims is from Indiana.
Not just the talking points.
The Biden administration has inserted cultural issues into the military.
When events happen.
Out-of-control drivers smashed into multiple vehicles on the corner of Arlington Avenue and Washington Street.
We'll happen to be there.
Back-to-back wins for Joseph Newgard.
On the level. On the go. 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Hopefully, you'll never have a house or business fire. But if you do, hopefully, you'll never forget this name, Michaelis. They can be there before that lump in your throat goes away. In fact, they're the reason it goes away. Over 35 years of helping people recover from faulty wiring, lightning strikes, or that unattended pot of pasta on the stove. Michaelis crews often roll in before the fire hoses are rolled up. Their proven process of water extraction, smoke removal, and content storage will calm your nerves. Then their talented craftsmen will rebuild your home and restore your spirits. That starts by being your advocate with the insurance company. You'll find Michaelis doesn't just feel for you, they work for you. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-339-3838. 800-339-3838. That's 800-339-3838.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Coming up in an hour from now, we have another chance for you to win a family 4-pack to the Indiana State Fair.
What?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah, again, because we were supposed to do it yesterday, so we have 2 today. Yeah. We're in the communication business. Have you heard? Still learning how to communicate internally.
I'll take the blame.
Oh,
I'll take the blame. It was all my fault.
Don't fall on the sword. This is not your fault. There are many things that are your fault, but this is not one of them.
Yeah, so we do have your chance to win, so stand by for that. It's 21 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Something that I will lay the blame on you for, Kevin, is if you don't give me the Spotify music list today so that I can update our Spotify playlist.
Oh, I need to start writing these down.
Yeah, because you didn't do that yesterday, so do it today. But Spotify has announced that it will increase the price of its premium subscription offerings by $2. So a 20% increase for some plans. The company said the market landscape has continued to evolve and the changes will help the company to continue to deliver value to fans and artists.
Okay, so Spotify, with that, you get like the podcasts, you get there's music.
Yep. And you can make a Kendall and Casey music playlist of all the bumper music we use throughout the show.
How exciting.
But they say that existing subscribers are going to be notified about the price change via email.
Oh.
And then you're given a 1-month grace period before the new prices go into effect. So if you have, if you're one of these people that signed up with your credit card, unless you say no thank you, it's probably going to happen automatically.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you always got to check those boxes to get rid of the auto renewal, unless you actually want it to auto renewal. Nothing ever goes down in price. Did you ever notice you never get a memo going, hey, there's a price reduction this year. Congratulations.
We're going to notify you by email that you're saving money
You're the big winner.
Oh, no. Another thing that's happening in the digital world, TikTok has launched a text-based content. You know, right now they're the short form video. Well, now they're doing the text to compete with Twitter and Threads, but not even really Threads because we gave that 2 weeks and that app is now over.
Well, okay, so help me with this because, as you know, unlike you, I am not going to subject myself to a free pass for the Chinese government. There is no currently descriptions allowed on your TikTok videos.
No, you can put text on your videos, but that's what it is. It's video. But now they're launching like a Twitter.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Where it's text-based, where it's not all video.
Okay, great.
And of course, just yesterday, Twitter changed to X,
Yes.
and they're calling that the future state of unlimited interactivity. They're saying now that Twitter's going to be based around audio, video messaging, payments, banking, and even creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. And this is going to be powered by AI. I told you that X change on Twitter was not just a rebrand.
Yeah.
This is like a whole new way of using Twitter because they want to compete with WhatsApp.
Well, it's not going to be, you know who it's not going to be for? Me. You know, it's going to be for me. It's going to be 280 characters of thoughts, usually insulting a government official of some sort.
What scares you more about this change? Is it the fact that they're going to allow you to do banking within your Twitter app, or is it because it's powered by AI?
Well, it's all of the above. Again, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I fear for the people who continue to subject themselves to all of this stuff. Now, I don't do the online banking or any of that stuff because, well,
you don't trust it.
I just don't. I don't like technology, and I think I've been largely proven correct based on much of. Now, look, there is obviously like modern medicine. Clearly, technological advances in modern medicine has been very helpful for society. I'm not a person who yells at clouds about things like that, but what I am saying is, what possible reason would you need to have your banking set up through Twitter? You know where you want your banking set up? Your bank.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. They want to make it one app so you can do everything there.
The more centralized access you give to people you don't know, and let's face it, you can think whatever you want about Elon Musk as a human being, as an entrepreneur, as an inventor, whatever. You don't know him, and he's not your friend, and he exists for control and to make money. Now, he has created a platform that is more open than other people, but he's doing that for his own purposes, right? I'm not under the delusion of, oh my gosh, Elon Musk, he's such a freedom fighter and he cares about me so much. No, he doesn't care at all. And when you start opening yourself up on these applications to all your stuff, then they control all your stuff, and they have the ability, as many conservatives found out in 2020, 2021, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, that they can destroy you.
Yep. Okay, let's finish off this segment talking about Kamala Harris and how she describes Bidenomics.
All of this is part of our blueprint together for what America can be. This is Bidenomics, a plan to invest in America and build a future in which all people can truly thrive.
So she's saying that Bidenomics is a blueprint for what America can be. It's more like the floor plan of currently what's happening.
Yeah, I don't want any more of government telling me what can be, because what it always ends up is a giant pile of crap. And it never ends up well for me, and things never get any better, and lives don't improve. This is why, Casey, when I was an elected person, I did two things. I cut taxes and I built roads. because cutting taxes and building roads allowed people to set their own plan. And then people could dictate what the plan was. Government planning never works out well. It never gets any better.
Bidenomics means that families are paying $10,000 more for the same goods with a higher cost of living. And let's talk about the soaring prices under Biden. Groceries up 19.6%. Energy up 33.1%. Gasoline 42.7%. Used cars 34.5%. Airline tickets 41.6%. You like those Bidenomics?
All right. The voicemails are up next.
Okay.
But I do want to go to break telling you one thing that has not gone up in price.
What's that?
And that is the news with Kurt Darling. It is still free and it is still next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Have you ever dropped off your documents for shredding and wondered what happened to them? At Quick Shred, documents are shred right in front of you at their retail location on East 62nd Street. No appointment needed and convenient curbside assistance is provided. No matter how big or how small, they shred it all. You leave knowing your confidential information has been completely destroyed. Quick Shred is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. Quick Shred at 62nd and Benford Boulevard. Quick Shred.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or federal alternative minimum tax.
The stock market dropped by over.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates.
Let's face it, investing can feel pretty scary and overwhelming these days, especially if you're retired or close to retirement, which is why you should consider investing in municipal bonds from Henny & Walsh. Municipal bonds can provide a source of federally tax-free retirement income. Plus, an investment in municipal bonds is an investment in America. Municipal bonds help finance major civil projects across the country, like the Golden Gate Bridge and Hoover Dam, as well as local roads, bridges, and schools. Call 1-800-761-9761 right now for our informative free bond guide and learn how you can earn tax-free retirement income while investing in America's future. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for the free Henny & Walsh bond guide. There's no cost and no obligation. 1-800-761-9761.
Henny & Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Cranking up the heat. It's 77 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Today begins a long stretch of hot weather. But the good news from Jason Puma with the National Weather Service.
So it doesn't look like we're going to have any record high temperatures as we get through the end of the week here. Record high temperatures on those days are primarily above 100 degrees. So we're not expecting temperatures quite that warm.
He says to expect temps in the mid to upper 90s, though, and there's a good chance for some strong storms throughout the week. A man is being accused of being sentenced to 4 years in prison for his role in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Peter Stager repeatedly beat a police officer with a flagpole as the officer was being dragged down the Capitol steps. Congress is still delving into how AI should be regulated. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee will hear from the CEO of Anthropic, one of the tech companies that met at the White House last week to announce their commitment to testing, sharing, and developing safe and secure AI technology. Senators have had a series of closed-door hearings with AI experts to learn about the technology and its potential impact. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Here's something you've never heard before.
Stop. This is Simply Safe.
Introducing 24/7 Lifeguard Protection, only from Simply Safe Home Security. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Pierce Jewelers wants you to know the diamond world has changed. You can choose mined or lab-grown diamonds. Unlike chain stores, Pierce Jewelers carries both. They can educate and help you save your hard-earned money.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
Well, if it isn't your favorite portion of the program, where you weigh in with your questions, comments, and smart remarks, 317-684-8444. That is the phone number if you'd like to contribute. It's 1034 with Kendall and Casey.
Great news, Casey. It's all hate mail today.
Oh, wonderful. It is Tuesday.
Here is one thing that is just very depressing sometimes on this program, is that nobody appreciates fun anymore. Nobody likes sarcasm. Nobody likes humor. You're not allowed to joke. You're not allowed to, share in jocularity. It's just a no fun zone that many people prefer. And yesterday we were talking about, or maybe this was 2 days ago, we were talking about the voicemail line and the phone number. And we, as we often do, jokingly remind people, Rob sorts through the voicemails.
Yeah.
And so you should plan accordingly when you call the voicemail line to think about something that I would want to enjoy, because if I don't enjoy it, you're going right into the dumpster. And I kind of thought that, based on the laughter that was involved in that, and that the inflection of voice, and just generally we play all sorts of phone calls from all sorts of people saying all sorts of things, that no one would take that too seriously. But our guy, I think this is the guy from the Liners that lives to hate us.
Okay.
I think this is him, and
Travis.
I think he's back, and he is not down for any sort of humor.
Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Casey. I listen to your show off and on, and I recently heard Rob say that he wouldn't play any comments that were negative about what he thinks. So what's the point in having a comment section?
You're joking.
Now, he didn't even get it right, because I said hate mail goes right to the front of the line, as we've been doing on this show. Oh, I don't know, for the 6.5 years that I've been working here now, I think we made that pretty clear, that if you say something negative towards me, you're more apt to get on, because I live to know how much I bother you, and yet you keep listening.
Yeah, I love how he announced that he's a listener. Like, he's on the show every single day. We know.
Literally, he's made it to a liner. He is on the show every day.
He's on several liners.
That guy is completely ridiculous. And again, I am terribly sorry for having any sort of fun or humor. And I never knew it was such a big deal. I thought that was made very, very clear.
Don't joke about these things, Rob, okay?
Okay, so the next guy called twice, and we'll get to why that's ridiculous in just a moment. But before, this person was very, very, very upset about Hunter Biden's nudes in which he was engaging in service acts being shown by our old pal Marjorie Taylor Greene at the congressional hearing, and he makes a comparison or assertion or whatever we want to call it that is beyond ridiculous, and let's take a listen.
So, nude pictures of Hunter Biden are okay to show in Congress on a big poster board because it's relevant to the fact that he was hanging out with prostitutes and such. So I guess you're saying it's okay for Congress to hold up nude pictures of Donald Trump, since we know that he was involved with porn stars and Miss Teen USA pageant contestants and things like that. So good, we'll get that picture put together and have it posted up in Congress. Thank you for permission.
So Gumby just heard that phone call and was like, "You okay, bro? Because you're stretching."
Is there a picture of Donald Trump naked being serviced?
Well, one, I don't believe there is. Two, there's been no viable claim that Donald Trump in any way ever engaged in relations of any sort with any sort of underage girl. Donald Trump also not funding a prostitution ring, which Hunter Biden is alleged to have done. And now there are very serious allegations about Hunter Biden related to human trafficking and potentially engaging in acts with underage girls. Hunter Biden was photographed doing that of his own free will. He put it on a laptop, which he knew those photos existed, and then didn't go bother to pick it up, either because, well, he was probably off his mind when he dropped the laptop off and never remembered doing it and didn't remember where he put it, which is why he couldn't come back to claim it. And again, they are related to very serious and allegations that appear to at least have some form of leg or validity, perhaps, that he was funding a prostitution ring, illegal, and that he may have been involved in human trafficking, illegal, and that he may have been involved with underage people, also illegal. None of which applies to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump didn't take pictures of himself and put it on a laptop that he left at a store.
Right. And I love how people are so offended by this. Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're saying that she needs to be brought before the ethics committee for doing that. It's not okay for her to do that in Congress before a room full of adults. However, pictures like that are okay in books in the children's section of your local library.
Oh, Casey, there you go, making logical points and asking very fair questions.
Okay.
This guy was not done. He called back. And here is, for those of you in listener land, I tweeted this out earlier today at Robin Kendall on Twitter.
You made Courtney spit out her coffee when she read it. Can I read what you said?
Yes, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Okay, you said public service announcement. If you call our show voicemail multiple times and insult the intelligence of our audience while mentioning multiple topics we've discussed in different segments, you're insulting yourself because you're in the audience.
Yes. If you, and we always laugh about the people who will call all the time, and it's always the, I don't usually listen, but, and yet they're citing specific things that we have said, or I don't listen anymore, but they're citing multiple things
from different days,
segments, different days. So this guy called back and is citing something different that we talked about. So newsflash. If you are listening to multiple segments of the show, you are in the audience. You may be a hate listener, which this guy probably is, but you are in the audience. And so if you're insulting the audience, you, my friend, are insulting yourself.
Okay, so Kendall Casey, I guess you are a couple of high school dropouts, maybe out of ninth grade, because anybody with half an education knows no vaccine is 100%, and it might not prevent, but it lessens the effects of whatever disease you're getting vaccinated against. And of course, you had no problem getting vaccinated against polio, smallpox, and all that other good stuff when you went to school, and I'm sure your parents didn't have any problem with it. So what's the deal? You just don't understand the science behind vaccinations, or you just pandering to your willfully ignorant audience?
Well, look, again, before we address the crux of his call, if you listen, and I can't say this clearly enough, if you are listening and calling about multiple segments, you are in the audience. So, buddy, I can't think, based on the phone calls that you gave, a description better than willfully ignorant. And that is you, my friend. Here is the mirror. Take a look. Now, let's get to the crux of his call, which is the vaccine. And we had talked about the Ted Nugent clip where Ted Nugent was calling people sheep. He was buying. Is that a verb? Is that is that the correct verb?
Yeah.
At those people. And I had said I thought that was unfair because a lot of people like you had to get the vaccine in order to keep your job.
It was mandated from my work.
However, that there were many people who did willfully get the thing and believe wrongly that it was providing them some sort of super protection, when the truth now is that any protection it did provide was incredibly fleeting. It was very short-lived. And the difference between, say, a polio vaccine,
which eradicated.
Correct. It worked.
Versus
That's
mitigating.
Number one. And by the time I took the polio vaccine in 1985 or whatever it was.
It's been around for a few years, hadn't it?
It had already been thoroughly tested, thoroughly vetted. It worked. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. In fact, shortly before my baby was born, I got a vaccine associated with protecting my child. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. What I am anti is being forced to do something that is experimental, that there is no proof that it actually works, that there is no long-term study on the impact it will have on your body. And yes, if you run around in some sort of bizarro celebration that you have done something, when now the proof is out that it did not work long term, which is why they make people keep getting it
boosters
all the time, then that probably does make you a sheep. Did we articulate that properly?
I would just like to add that not only did I graduate from high school, I graduated from college and from broadcasting school. Because he said we only finished ninth grade.
Wait, you went to a broadcasting school?
I did.
That's a
thing.
That's like separate from college?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes.
What was it like back in the Stone Age? Did you people have tablets? Hammer's next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Is the heat getting a little hotter for the Joe Biden crime family? We'll talk about that. 93 WIBC.
Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? Do you know who's to blame? Don't trust your case to unreliable witnesses and accident reports. You need to call me, Daryl Isaacs, the Hammer, or visit roadproof.wewin.com, because now we may have the proof you need caught on camera. Isaacs & Isaacs is wired into Indiana's major traffic cameras, and we have immediate access to video footage of your accident, even if it happened weeks ago. Call the Hammer today, or visit roadproof.wewin.com. That's roadproof.wewin.com.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation with a few words about summer. Searing, scorching, sweating, sweltering, blazing, blistering, burning, baking, feeling the heat, are we? High temps aren't the only thing getting you hot under the collar. Wait till you see your energy bills and your AC repair bills. The solution? I recommend my friends at Window Nation for new energy-efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool, your energy bill sinks as low as it can go, and your AC will avoid any premature breakdown.
And not to mention the incredible savings Window Nation is offering right now. With every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 free windows. Plus, you'll put 0 down. Make 0 payments with 0 interest for 24 months. This could be thousands of dollars in savings. So, maintain your chill, lower your bill, and get your home filled with new Window Nation windows. Buy 2, get 2 for free. Pay nothing for 2 years. Call now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or federal alternative minimum tax.
The stock market dropped by over
Inflation continues to be a challenge.
Let's face it, investing can feel pretty scary and overwhelming these days, especially if you're retired or close to retirement, which is why you should consider investing in municipal bonds from Hennian & Walsh. Municipal bonds can provide a source of federally tax-free retirement income, plus an investment in municipal bonds is an investment in America. Municipal bonds help finance major civil projects across the country, like the Golden Gate Bridge and Hoover Dam, as well as local roads, bridges, and schools. Call 1-800-761-9761 right now for our informative free bond guide and learn how you can earn tax-free retirement income while investing in America's future. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for the free Hennian & Walsh bond guide. There's no cost and no obligation. 1-800-761-9761.
Hennian & Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Make a fast break to the Indiana State Fair Free Stage Friday, August 4th for the Styx Concert and Beer Sample Friday with Hammer and Nigel, who will broadcast their show live. This year's fair celebrates the state that grew the game of basketball. Presented by Pacer Sports and Entertainment.
He's a hairy American winning machine. Hammer joins us in the studio.
Man.
From the Hammer and Nigel show on 93
Rob's already got a cold
WIBC.
one cracked here, baby. Let's go.
Well, Kloppenstein left those Alpsbrau's in the fridge, and they were just there, and said,
"You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning."
That's right.
Baby.
I like it. I
do
like
too.
that you're having a cold one.
Well, you know,
takes the edge off of him a little bit, doesn't it, Casey?
He needs a couple of those. Brad, we need more.
Casey's such a work wife right now. It really helps him take the edge off a little bit.
Well, you had pointed out that he had a beer over there, and I said, "Does he really? Is it open?" Oh, good for him.
It is.
Well, that's Brad's.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, Brad's brew there, Alpsbrau.
You know, a good host offers a beverage for the guest coming
They're
in.
in the fridge.
A good co-host offers someone a...
Did you leave those chips?
Those chips?
Was that you?
Yes. Our friends at Hiatus Tequila yesterday, it was National Tequila Day. So they brought us up chips and cheese from around the corner there, Chipotle, and they also brought us some Hiatus Tequila.
Wow.
I tried some new tequila while I was on vacation. It has jalapeno and lime in it.
Ooh, that sounds awful.
No, it's awesome. You make a skinny margarita. Here's what you need. You need the jalapeno lime tequila, a little club soda, and some lime.
I just don't know if I want the jalapeno in the tequila. I don't know.
Spicy. Gives it a little kick. A little heat.
I'm going to take a rain check on that one.
All right.
Let's dive into some Netflix stuff here.
Great.
Right? So I'm watching a couple different things on Netflix. One is new. One's kind of old, but it's new to Netflix.
Okay.
So this quarterback series that Peyton Manning's company has put out is a pretty good show. So if you like Hard Knocks, that type of stuff behind the scenes, this series called Quarterback, and again, it's Peyton Manning's production company. It follows all through last year Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. And it is really good. Like, I had no idea that Patrick Mahomes was such a trash talker. The F-bombs and everything. Like
he likes to keep it clean in public.
Right. He is a mild-mannered corporate machine. But when you mic him up during the game, man, it's on. And I thought that was fascinating.
I found out, I think it was in the show you're talking about, him and his wife, they've been together since they were like 13 years old.
Yeah. Yep. And Marcus Mariota in this series, his wife is getting ready to give birth, and he finds out, spoiler, but Peyton's already talked about this, and it happened last year. He gets benched the week that his wife is giving birth.
Oh, wow.
So it's like the roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
It's a really good series. So if you're somebody that watches Netflix, check out Quarterback.
All right.
Another series, and the coupon lady got me onto this, and I'm almost embarrassed that I like it. It's a show called Suits. And it was on USA, I think, a number of years ago.
It's the Meghan Markle show.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, she's not the star of it. She's a secondary player. But it's this really powerful law firm in New York City and the cutthroat backstabbing that goes on in that place. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this. Meghan Markle's actually pretty good in it.
Really?
I don't like it either.
Wow.
I was really hoping, she would be looking at the camera like Mr. Roper used to do on Three's Company. But in this show, again, she's a secondary character, but she's actually pretty good. And it's a good show. So we're kind of binge watching that now. I think there's like 9 seasons of it.
Yeah.
We're on episode 2.
Go ahead, Casey.
I was going to ask him, what about the Wham documentary?
Coupon Lady did watch that one.
Yeah.
She said it was pretty good. I did not want any part of the Wham documentary.
But yet you're going to watch the Suits one.
The Suits one is like backstabbing. Okay. It's like, imagine working with a bunch of Rob Kendalls. A bunch of rich, good-looking Rob Kendalls trying to sabotage their way making money.
Now, you did have a question to the audience here.
So another big thing coming to Netflix is this upcoming documentary about the Florida Gators football teams under Urban Meyer. And keep in mind, some of the characters on those teams included Tim Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, Riley Cooper, the Pouncey brothers. I mean, these are all a wild group of people brought together to play ball. And they won back-to-back championships, and Tim Tebow wins the Heisman. Aaron Hernandez kills people.
Yeah.
Riley Cooper, famous racial rant, I think at a Kenny Chesney concert. I mean, it was a wild group. But I got to thinking about Tim Tebow, right? If college athletics had the NIL money back when he played, this money that these athletes are getting now for name, image, and likeness and endorsements, I would argue Tim Tebow would have made more money in endorsements and NIL money than any other college athlete in the history of the sport.
Now, why do you say that?
Think about all the things that he brings to the table here. 1, he's a winner. 2, you're in a football crazy state, a football crazy school. At Florida and the SEC, you've won a Heisman Trophy. You came back to school. You're a Christian. You're the face of the program. They built a statue for this guy. He's just one of those dudes that I think folks in Gainesville and around Florida's program would have paid him a ton of money.
The only person I can think of that would eclipse that, and this will be a weird one because it's not one of the big 3 sports, is Tiger Woods. Because Tiger Woods, when he was at Stanford, he won all those U.S. amateurs in a row. Everybody remembers the infamous press conference with Nike, Hello World. He's the only person I can think of because golf is such a money sport, and it would have been weird sponsors. It wouldn't have been like traditional stuff.
It would have been nowhere near Tebow money. Christian Laettner maybe at Duke. So the question to your audience on your YouTube chat, on Twitter, whatever, go back in the history of college sports, right? And just assume NIL money was around. Who would have made the most money?
It's coming up this afternoon.
We got the biggest stories of the day. A lot of things coming to Indianapolis. We'll talk about that.
Thank you, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're not just good at insurance. We're good at Dillon's Jam Session Truck Insurance.
Where the backwoods party and the diddle-de-doo.
We're good at Ben's Hype Machine on Wheels Insurance.
You a boss. You were him.
And we're good at Ethan's SUV with surround sound insurance.
Dad, play Johnny Johnny Apple Pie.
You got it, bud.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-339-3838. 800-339-3838. That's 800-339-3838.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, Fox News Now. It's 11 o'clock.
It's reckless, unprovoked, and unprofessional. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what the U.S. Air Force's Central Commander says after Russia took aim at yet another American drone in Syria, firing flares, severely damaging the propeller.
The crew operating the drone was able to fly back to its home base. This is the latest in a string of aggressive incidents between Russian jets and U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones over Syria. Earlier this month, there were two separate instances of dangerous Russian flybys, forcing the drones to take evasive actions.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Americans are more optimistic about the economy. A new measure of consumer confidence is at a 2-year high. A 7th Republican running for president is qualified for the first debate next month. Doug Burgum, North Dakota's governor's met the polling and fundraising criteria. The frontrunner in the race has suggested he might skip the debate next month. And as Fox's Mark Meredith reports, former President Trump may miss something else.
So far, no word yet if he's going to head to Iowa for the annual state fair. Trump has yet to accept an invitation from the state's governor, despite news today that all of the other major Republican presidential candidates plan to be there.
That includes Ron DeSantis, who will also be on the debate stage. He got into a fender bender today.
A campaign spokesman for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says nobody was hurt inside a car transporting the governor and others in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The governor is there making appearances for his presidential campaign.
Fox's Evan Brown. Next hour, President Biden will sign a declaration creating a national monument for Emmett Till.
Emmett Till was 14 years old when he was abducted, tortured, and killed after being accused of whistling at a white woman in Mississippi in 1955.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The monument includes the Chicago church where Till's funeral was held and the Mississippi courthouse where the black teenager's white killers were acquitted. The son of NBA star LeBron James is hospitalized. TMZ reports Bronny James collapsed during a workout at USC, suffered cardiac arrest. He's stable now. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. on the go.
Hydrate and use sunscreen. It's 78 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Just a couple of things that you'll probably need to do this week as temperatures increase.
We're going to see a warming trend as the week goes on. Today, we're going to see a high temperature near 89 under sunny skies.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. Later in the week, we reach highs in the mid to upper 90s in some places, and there's a strong chance for severe weather. An arrest made in a murder from nearly 2 weeks ago. It was along Meridian Street on the north side where Elijah Martin was found shot, and he later died at the hospital. Jeremiah Shanks has been caught and charged with his murder. Several agencies raided a home in Fishers this morning, among them Fishers Police, Anderson Police SWAT, and DEA agents. It's not clear yet why the operation was taking place. With an increase in thefts of certain Kia and Hyundai vehicles happening in Indy, police are trying their best to do something to help people out to keep that from happening to them. John Herrick reports.
While supplies last, they're giving away free steering wheel locks to certain Kia and Hyundai vehicles from any IMPD district Mondays through Fridays from 10 to 2. You have to live in Indianapolis and bring your current car registration with you to see which type of Kia and Hyundai vehicles are applicable. Go to WIBC.com. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Are you considering college or a job in the trades? Well, enrollment in college is going down in Indiana, and experts are taking notice.
Kids leaving high school and going to college and university. It's the same thing for adults. Had really been declining pretty precipitously for the last decade.
Chris Lowry with the Indiana Higher Education Commission tells Indy Politics that they are encouraging young people to consider college because of the benefits of a degree. He says people with a degree are typically in better health and command a higher paycheck. The Indiana Fever hoping to turn things around tonight. They've dropped 9 of their last 10 games entering tonight's contest against the LA Sparks on the road. Indiana has won just 6 games all year. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Real people are getting real and lasting pain relief at QC Kinetics.
Who would have thought that I would be in better shape now than after I got out of the Marines at 22? It's great to be active again.
I've played 36 holes multiple days in a row without pain. Everything's great.
Are you tired of living with chronic joint pain? QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged tissue, natural healing agents from your own body, so your body can heal itself the way it was designed, with no pain pills, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Thanks to QC Kinetics, quality of life is just a lot better.
Definitely changed my life.
Call now to see if regenerative medicine could be the answer you've been looking for. The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics have proven protocols that can give you lasting relief now, and the consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Lab Grown or Mined Diamond Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Hey, good morning. It is Tuesday, July 25th. It is 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he was in a car accident this morning. It was in Tennessee. He was on his way to a fundraiser when the crash occurred. He was visiting Tennessee for 3 different fundraisers throughout the day. The first one began at 8:30 this morning in Chattanooga. He's fine. No worries. He's fine. His campaign did say that they appreciate all the prayers and well wishes of the nation and continued protection of him while he's on the campaign trail. Let's talk about what's going on with Jim Jordan with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So he has said that we are at the important final stage of the Biden family investigation.
Our theme for today, if you're just tuning in, we have done this all throughout the program, and we will continue to do this throughout the hour we have left together, is talking about how people in very powerful, important positions in all levels and layers of government, especially, I'm not talking about your rank and file government worker. There's many very, very patriotic, hardworking people who just want to serve the community. I'm talking about the upper echelon, the top brass, and we have seen it time and time and time again, and it is with such frequency now. I mean, it is alarming beyond belief how they will look you in the eye and they will lie to you and they will just walk away. And even when they are proven 100% to be the pathological liars they are, they don't bat an eye. They don't think a thing about it. They just go on about their merry way because they have zero respect for you.
Okay, so Jim Jordan, he said that the House of Representatives could be moving in the direction of impeaching Attorney General Merrick Garland, and he said at a pretty quick pace. So there's a lie right there from Jim Jordan. This has not been a quick pace.
Well, Jim Jordan wasn't the person I was targeting in this segment.
I
Obviously,
know.
it relates to... we talked about Merrick Garland. He was also talking about Joe Biden and the Biden crime syndicate and the things that are being revealed there. And again, it comes back to the same stuff. These people have zero respect for you as an American and you as a taxpayer, and they believe, and they've been proven correct, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything about it. So they don't fear you at all.
Well, there is good news. At least Comer and Jordan are looking into things, and Grassley as well. But
they're looking into things.
Well, yeah, it's more than anybody else. I mean, we're all seeing it. At least these guys are having this oversight committee and they're having these hearings and they're getting testimony from the IRS whistleblowers. And now next week, the new comic book hero Devin Archer will enter the scene.
They impeached Trump in less than a month over January 6th for doing nothing. How is it that when it's the Democrats, they can... like that, impeach a president, and when it's the Republicans, we're looking into it.
Right.
We're digging deep. We're getting to the bottom of it.
Well, I feel like because of the weaponization of the DOJ, these Republicans feel like they really have to have all of their ducks in a row, and they have to have evidence, and they have to have testimony to do anything with it, because otherwise nothing will happen.
Well, the Republicans are very weak people, and they are it's always the same song and dance with them. And here is Jim Jordan discussing what he learned from the IRS whistleblower testimony last week on Hunter Biden.
Yeah, I do think if you step back, there's sort of three fundamental questions here, Maria. The first one is, what were the Bidens doing to get the money? I mean, 20 different shell companies, 9 different Bidens getting paid. What was the service? What was the product? What was the value they had? The only logical explanation here is it was access to then Vice President Biden, maybe even before that, Senator Biden. The second key question is, was he really involved? Was it this Hunter Biden's operation, or was Joe Biden involved? It sure looks now like he was, based on this confidential human source and the information we got in the 1023 form, thanks to Senator Grassley. And now I think we're at the important final stage of this whole thing, which is, who are you going to believe? The two whistleblowers whose testimony has been consistent, or the Garland-Biden Justice Department, which can't get their story straight? David Weiss has said 3 different things over the last month and a half about how he handled this investigation, what authority he had. The whistleblowers have been true, consistent, and their testimony has not wavered. So I think now that's the important phase. And frankly, that's the phase, that's the part that the Judiciary Committee is really going to examine.
They're going to examine it. Okay, we can't keep doing this. These crimes, they're right before our eyes, right? Everybody knows about this. Him saying, I'm never involved in my son's business dealings. Baloney. And we're going to hear that next week from Devin Archer. He's going to testify that there were 24 calls, there were private meetings in back rooms of restaurants, and Joe Biden was there. So they need to, this is picking up at a quick pace. Okay. Finally, let's go.
Yeah, but Casey, what did the Republicans just do? They just fully funded Joe Biden's priorities and all his budgets, et cetera, for the next 2 years with the debt ceiling. And we were on this radio program 6 months ago warning people about electing Kevin McCarthy Speaker of the House, and yet the entire Indiana delegation, other than Andre Carson and doofus up there in northwestern Indiana, who's a Democrat, and Victoria Spartz, the rest of them, all the Republicans other than Victoria Spartz, lined up in support of Kevin McCarthy. We all know phony conservative Jim Banks voted for him 15 times, told us what a great guy McCarthy was and what a great job he was going to do. Well, you're seeing what job Kevin McCarthy's doing. He's done absolutely nothing. There has been nothing change in this country. The Republicans had all the power. They gave it away. Look at the debt ceiling. They fully funded all of Kevin McCarthy's priorities. All of the Republicans, other than, I believe, Spartz, voted for it. Oh, and then, of course, there was Banks who didn't vote. And we have still to this day have no idea where he was or what he was doing. Because, I mean, he was flapping his gums all day about how he was against the debt ceiling. But apparently he didn't care enough to vote. Show up and vote. And by the way, it's amazing the media just let that go. I thought the media was supposed to hate Republicans. How could a guy be one of 4 members of Congress to not vote on the debt ceiling after flapping his gums for anybody who would listen all day long, and nobody asked him, where were you? The point is in all of this, the Republicans, as they always are colossal failures. They're highly fraudulent, and they have no intention of doing anything of any sort of substance because they had the opportunity to do something of substance, which was choke off the money. And they didn't do it.
I believe Kevin McCarthy was on Sean Hannity last night, and he said that he's moving in the direction towards impeachment of Merrick Garland. And, okay, just like he was moving in the direction of being tough with Biden on the debt ceiling.
I'm so upset about your behavior. I'm going to fully fund all of your priorities and ability to continue to do the thing that I claim I'm really upset about.
Okay, well, Representative Byron Donalds, he is blasting the media's glowing coverage of Jack Smith and the DOJ.
No, the only thing I know about that is that they followed him to go to Subway so he could have a photo op at Subway, which is ridiculous. That's one. Number two, the media never questioned the fact that it's clear that Jack Smith and his investigative team are leaking to the press. They're leaking from a criminal investigation into the press to set the narrative and to set the tempo in public opinion. And the big press, the big media, they're such lapdogs. They just follow it hook, line, and sinker. And the reason why is because they are totally invested in Joe Biden. A lot of these reporters believe in this radical agenda. They think this is a good thing. And so they're willing to cover up and allow for the corruption at the Department of Justice to occur and not even cover it.
Did you see CNN's coverage of Jack Smith going to Subway? It was like an hour long.
What?
They were doing play-by-play.
You were on vacation. Why were you watching that?
I don't know. Why do I know? You're right. Why was I watching that?
Here's how I picture this going on your vacation. Your man's is there, and he's like, hey, honey, it's time to go down to the pool and have a nice time on the beach.
And I'm like, no, wait, CNN is covering Jack Smith going into Subway. I must watch it. It was ridiculous. It was like he's getting a foot long. He's getting the turkey sub. They're trying to make this guy seem great and wonderful.
Well, that's what they always do, Casey. It's what they did with Fauci. It's what they did with the attorney guy who's in prison now, Hadi Avenatti. I mean, it's what they do. That's what the left does. They prop these people up and make them superheroes.
He's like one of us. He's going to Subway too. It's 14 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We want to give you plenty of time. We're going to talk about Eric Holcomb coming up. And you know,
he lied, Casey.
I know. You're just stand by. You're going to have your minute. And nothing is free except for on this show. Coming up, we have your chance to win something for free. It's 93 WIBC.
Casey, I have some breaking news for you.
What?
Our national debt is now more than $32 trillion.
I don't know if that's breaking news, but yeah, that's not so great.
Well, how else am I supposed to start this fabulous promo, Casey? Hey, Casey, here's something you knew forever. Of course not. And you know what the government's going to do next?
What?
They're going to keep spending trillions of dollars they don't have, and then they're going to turn right around and make you, very wealthy broadcaster, pay for it by raising your taxes.
It is Kendall and Casey, and you know, you don't have to just sit there and take this. You can discover how you could dramatically reduce your taxes in retirement, and this is with the free tax reduction analysis. And it's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy here in Indy. If you've saved at least $200,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling him at 317-932-9912.
If you take advantage of some simple tax planning strategies now, you could save a bundle in taxes when you retire. Call 317-932-9912, 317-932-9912.
As the temperatures get higher,
heat index will get up to 105.
So do the number of presidential candidates.
Additional presidential candidates.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
I intend to seek the Republican nomination. Former Vice President Pence.
I'm announcing I'm running for President of the United States.
All the cool kids are running this year.
Announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
How that could possibly happen.
What happens next?
We'll see what happens.
Happens here. 93 WIBC.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword INFO 42 to 866-482-9559. That's INFO 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Find special savings on top brands like DeWalt. Right now, save $60 when you buy a DeWalt impact driver or drill for just $99 each. Plus, MVP's Pro Rewards members will earn 3 times the bonus points when shopping the Pro Zone. Shop in-store and online today. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. DeWalt offer valid 7/17 through 8/2. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 7/28. Subject to change.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace.
And Casey Daniels.
Wow, she's an angel.
On 93 WIBC.
19 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And this from the traffic beast, Matt Baer. He's suggesting to pack what he calls a breakdown bag in your car because of the heat we're experiencing this week. And he mentions that black leather seats are his favorite. Oh, boy, you know, in this heat, you get in that hot car and it burns your fanny, doesn't it? But he said make sure in your car this week that you've got some extra water and possibly some snacks with protein in them, just in case you have a breakdown in the vehicle. You want to be prepared and invest in a phone charger that is designated for your car so that if you are stuck somewhere, you can call out for help. It is 20 minutes after 11, and let's talk about what's going on with your fave, our fave, everybody's favorite, our governor, Eric Holcomb. He said he's going to hold off publicly endorsing any candidate to take over his position when he steps down in 2024. Is he dithering? Rob, is he dithering again?
Well, he's doing a lot worse than dithering. In this case, he is looking the entire state of Indiana in the eye, all 7 million people, and he is lying to them. And he knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows exactly what he's lying about. And it is the theme of the show today. And how many times have we made the case at a national level and now a state level about how these politicians, it is serial killer level sociopathy from these politicians who they don't feel any remorse about anything. They don't feel any guilt about anything. They don't care about you at all. I mean, it is a bizarre and disturbing level of an ability to just not care about your fellow people whatsoever. And that's what they're doing when they look you in the eye. You are their boss. You are They are accountable to you, and the ability to look your boss and the person you're accountable to in the eye and just blatantly lie. It's not a difference of opinion. When we talked about the Biden stuff earlier, they're lying. They're lying about Joe Biden's involvement with Hunter Biden. It's been easily proved, and yet they continue to lie. And we're about to talk about another example of Eric Holcomb just blatantly lying to the 7 million people of this state. So WIBC had the story, as you said, about Holcomb still refusing to endorse someone for governor. And again, I can't tell you how hilarious I think it is that Suzanne Crouch is getting exactly what she deserved for the harm that she helped Eric Holcomb do to the state of Indiana, because there was no better friend to Eric Holcomb the past 7 years than old silent Suzanne Crouch, who, whether it was tax increases, growth of government spending, lockdowns, mask mandates, Malik Mohammed meet and greets, you name it, she was behind him the entire way, up to and including gave him several $1 million of campaign cash. And the fact that he is refusing to endorse her, which is him very publicly extending a giant middle finger right into her face, that is what she deserves from every taxpayer in this state. So at least he's the one who's able to do it publicly. That's great. That's hilarious. She's getting what she deserved.
Does she want his endorsement at this point, though?
Well, I mean, it's easy to say. It's like if somebody breaks up with you, I didn't want to be with them anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether she wants it or not.
She wouldn't turn it away.
She stood behind him for 7 years. Yeah. If you stand behind a man for 7 years, you are...
You are who you surround yourself by.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact that this Brad Chambers guy is apparently about to get in and is going to steal a bunch of votes from her and ensure that she is not the Republican nominee for governor is absolutely phenomenal. And in some weird world, these two splitting votes may enable Curtis Hill to become the Republican nominee for governor. That makes it even better, which brings us to the point of the article. So Holcomb got asked about Curtis Hill. And everyone knows what Eric Holcomb said about Curtis Hill. Holcomb joined Brian Bosma and David Long and Silent Suzanne and Connie Lawson and the rest of the good time establishment fun gang sprinting to the nearest possible podium. I was worried that they were going to do a damage to an ACL or something. They moved so fast, calling for Curtis's resignation before any sort of facts had played out in a court of law or from somebody in law enforcement. They immediately deemed him guilty of a crime which a prosecutor apparently did not believe that he committed based on the fact that there were never any charges filed, and even Holcomb's own ethics chief couldn't find an ethics violation. Yet Holcomb didn't wait for any of that. Bosma, Long, Silent Suzanne, Connie Lawson, none of them. They deemed him guilty because they hated him. Everybody knew he did it. Everybody was living in the state, watched it play out. Everybody knew what he did. However, Holcomb, again, with a level of sociopathic behavior often associated with serial killers, looks the entire state in the eye, according to this article, and lies. Here's what he said. Are you ready? Quote, "At the time, I said that if someone in my office with those accusations were to be true," that's the key right there. If those accusations were to be true, they would have to step down. And so I remain consistent with that. He went on to say, quote, "That would apply to anyone per my office policy, so my position remains the same." Bull. You know what I did, Casey?
You found the original article.
It took me less than 1 minute. And you know what I Googled? I Googled Eric Holcomb, Curtis Hill, resignation. And within 1 minute time, I had the original article from the Indianapolis Star that popped up. Here is the quote from Eric Holcomb at the time. Now, remember what he's lying to you about now, trying to say, I said that if someone in my office, those accusations were to be true, they would have to step down. So I remain consistent with that. Here is what he said at the time. I concur with Senator Long and Speaker Bosma that Attorney General Hill should resign. Not let's wait for the facts to come out. Let's not see what a court of law says. Let's not see what the special prosecutor says. Let's not see what my ethics officer finds or doesn't find. Quote, I concur with Senator Long and Speaker Bosma that Attorney General Hill should resign. He is lying. He is lying to everyone. It is so easily disprovable. And just like with Joe Biden, it is so easily disprovable. And he does not care because Eric Holcomb, just like Suzanne Crouch, you know what they think of you? They said it. They think you're a human petri dish. They hate you. They hate you. They have no respect for you whatsoever. And even though he is caught right here, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is totally caught. It's not like when Indy Star ran that article, he ran out going, I was misquoted. I didn't say that. Blah. Of course you weren't misquoted. You hate Curtis Hill. You hate him because he had the audacity to challenge you. And he is lying because he's a liar. And Suzanne Crouch is a liar, trying to act like she's some sort of conservative. These people all got to go. And next year, you got a chance to put your foot up their backside and kick them to the curb.
So Holcomb said that he's going to wait and inspect, like every other Hoosier voter should do, what people's plans are, what the substance is behind it, and then he'll determine who he's going to endorse. I thought I read that he was going to be behind Brad Chambers.
Well, he is. I was told directly by a very reliable source. Now, is he going to come out tomorrow and go, I hereby stand with Brad Chambers?
Well, he hasn't officially announced yet either.
That is not how it's going to happen. But what is going to happen, in lieu of an immediate endorsement, is Holcomb Hupfer Incorporated and their little goon squad of Oompa Loompas is going to put their whole weight and resources behind this guy when he gets in. And again, how could you, I need to study and find out what the plan is. How could you not know what your lieutenant governor's plan is? What, you guys never talk? It's never come up in a room. Hey, Silent Suze, what's your plan when you're running for governor? Again, these people just lie. They just lie and they don't care at all because they have zero respect for you. And ultimately, Casey, we're to blame because in 2020, everybody knew what this guy was. And so many people got in that ballot box after he treated them like complete dirt. And when it came time to do the right thing, they wilted. Well, I can't risk having a Democrat in there. Yeah, Holcomb, he's pretty bad. And, you know, he's tried to put me in jail for not wearing a mask. And, you know, he shut my business down and he cost me my livelihood. And you know, he called me a human petri dish. But, boy, I'm just really afraid of a Democrat. We are to blame for this. These politicians don't grow on a politician farm. We put them in there. And next year, you have the opportunity to do something about it.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We want to congratulate Matt from Coatesville. He was our winner earlier this morning of the family 4-pack of tickets to the Indiana State Fair, and we have another one on the way.
Hendricks County guy winning those tickets.
Yeah.
Off the. You ever been to Coatesville?
I don't know.
If you don't know, then you haven't been there, okay. Casey. You know, Coatesville, little trivia for Coatesville. I believe this was 1948, victim of one of the great tornadoes in Indiana history. Someday you and I, we will just get on 40. We'll get in Kev's van. We'll get on 40 and we will just take a drive straight down there to Coatesville and we will have ourselves a day in Coatesville.
All right. Well, we've got another chance to win on the way from 93 WIBC.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-646-7049 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-646-7049. That's 800-646-7049. What do you have to lose? Call 800-646-7049. Again, 800-646-7049.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with that symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Appearing in court, I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is due to appear in federal court on Wednesday in Delaware. He's expected to plead guilty to misdemeanor tax crimes. Wednesday's appearance will also serve as an initial court hearing on a felony gun charge for possibly making a false statement in purchasing a firearm. Presidential candidate Ron DeSantis was involved in a car accident this morning. Fox's Eben Brown.
A campaign spokesman for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says nobody was hurt inside a car transporting the governor and others in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The governor is there making appearances for his presidential campaign. DeSantis has spent some time in Tennessee recently addressing more than 1,800 attendees at a Republican Party dinner in Broward County, Florida. Eben Brown, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Parents, teachers, school board members, do you want your school to experience the richness of academic freedom or the constraints of a one-size-fits-all federal mandate called Common Core Standards? Advocates for academic freedom is for educational excellence and local control of your school. Come join the fight for your children's education. You can contact us at advocatesforacademicfreedom.org or call 1-715-234-5072.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So next time you go to the grocery store, you might want to download an app. It's called Veebs. Have you heard of this? You've never heard of this. You don't do the grocery shopping.
The hell I don't do the grocery shopping. I don't need a phone to tell me what to do.
All right, well, let me tell you about this app. It allows you to scan the barcodes of the products that you're shopping for, and then it provides you with information on whether that product, the owners of that product, are activists and they're wading into controversial social issues. And it's called Veebs. Veebs, Veebs, and it has an algorithm. And the algorithm calculates a V-score, a V-score, from 1 to 100. And the lower the score is, the woker the company is. And then the app is going to give you alternatives. Now, if you're very conservative and it's showing up that this is a woke product, it will give you an alternative to a more conservative brand.
Wow, that's wild.
I would think that this is really going to slow down the grocery shopping process. Like, I'm a runner through the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, give me in and out as quickly as possible, right? But if you're sitting there scanning everything to determine, is this a woke company? Do I want to do that? That's really going to slow things down.
Yeah, see, this really wouldn't affect me because basically everything I buy is the Walmart brand. Mm-hmm. So as long as, I guess, you got to eat, right? So I don't know. I mean, there's like, if you try to police everything, you're gonna spin yourself into a tizzy to where you're just completely consumed and miserable. There are a lot of liberal companies out there. I don't think it's feasible to say I'm going to boycott every single one of them. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is. I don't know. However, unless they're just blatantly flaunting it in your face,
like Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's would be one. Bud Light would be one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Target in terms of shopping, whatever. Although it's like, okay, somebody very nicely gave me a Target gift card. Mm-hmm. And my wife was like, should we shop there? I said, yes, because someone gave you something. Like, I'm not so wed that if somebody's going to hand me money, I'm going to be like, no, my principles are so great that I'm not going to shop there. I have to buy groceries. I have to buy them somewhere. If someone's going to hand me money or the ability to have something for free,
you're going to use
that I have to eat, my baby has to eat, my wife has to eat. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think we take it to extremes. Obviously, again, if there are individual products, a la Bud Light, that do something highly egregious, then okay. But man, you can run yourself ragged trying to punish every single person. And is that really a life that makes you happy living?
Okay, well, under Bidenomics, groceries have increased by nearly 20%. And now a staggering 1 in 5 Americans say they will never be able to retire because of the cost of living. Only 36% of people age 55 and older say they're going to be able to retire when they had originally planned.
Isn't that
to
a
do
depressing
so.
statistic?
Yes, it's highly depressing. I mean, they're saying that $10,000 per family has been spent just because of inflation in the past year.
Sure, and we've talked about this where we've reached a point where you can't work your way out of the inflation. You can't work your way out of the price increases. Now, look, if you got a new job of some sort that was markedly better than the job you have, maybe. But trust me, I am someone who has obtained a second job in this calendar year to try to make up for Republican tax increases in this state and Biden's inflation. And it's very, very, very hard to do. Now, if you want to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, maybe you can do it. But as I found, when you're working 14-hour days, you're not living much of a life.
No.
And so it's almost just better to say, I am going to accept the fact that I will work until the day I die, and I will do the best that I can to mitigate that with wise investments or whatever and responsible, frugal living as best I can. But we have created this. Right? Again, back to the same thing we talked about last segment with Holcomb. This did not happen in a vacuum. These politicians are not cyborgs, they're not Terminators. We hire them, we can fire them, and until we are willing to throw the vast majority of these people out, then we are to blame for this because we have created this monster.
Well, I would just like to remind you at this point that inflation is transitory. That's what I was told.
You're funny, Casey.
Even though 20% of adults fear they'll never be able to retire. Hey, here's something that's free. Yeah. You don't have to do anything for it. It is actually free.
How exciting.
We're looking for caller number 3 right now at 317-239-9393. We have a family 4-pack of tickets to the Indiana State Fair. Free, right?
And we're giving them away right now?
Right now.
And the number is 317-239-9393. We're going to take caller number 3.
Yep.
And you will get to speak with Kevin, and Kevin will get all of your very personal information, and then you'll be able to grab yourself a family 4-pack to be able to go to the state fair. If you'd like to invite Kev, maybe he will bring his van.
He'll drive you.
And you can go together.
Chauffeur?
But yes,
no, that's not really part of it, is it?
317-239-9393. We got a few minutes left in this segment, I believe.
We do, and I want to talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, what she said.
Oh, yes.
Did you hear that message? She sent a message to leftists that are fleeing California. There's the great California exodus. There's this one woman, I've seen her a lot. She makes these videos. It's pretty funny. She says that she's a former Californian, and now she lives in the South, and she's learning all sorts of new words.
Did she bring her politics with her?
Well, no, she didn't, and that's the thing. Yeah. She's learning the politics of the South rather than California, and that's what Sarah Huckabee Sanders is saying. Hey, come to her state, but leave your leftist stuff where you got it from.
Our message is Arkansas is open for business. We're glad we're doing as well as we are. We have an unbelievably strong economy. We're continuing to cut taxes and still invest in things like education and public safety. Just remember, when you get to Arkansas, don't forget why you left California in the first place.
Yeah.
Good point.
They're cutting taxes in Arkansas. What's that like?
Well, we've seen this here. The governor has just a euphoric celebration every time a foreign company comes into our state. And every time jobs from other states, no matter how much farmland he has to destroy or how much taxpayer money he has to use to destroy the farmland in the process, because that's how Holcomb judges and the little goon minions around him judge their success, is how many farm fields they can plow over and how many bright, shiny objects they can put up in the air. And the problem with that, now Holcomb doesn't see it as a problem with that because he's a super lib, is that those people are bringing their politics with them, which is why we've seen a dramatic change in not just voting patterns in Indiana. Now, look, don't kid yourself. The reason the Republicans are so liberal here is because that's what their constituents, they believe, are demanding. If they actually thought their constituents were demanding conservatism or they'd be voted out, they're giving it to them. Holcomb has dramatically changed the landscape of this state. They have rid the state of conservatism, which was the goal of people around Holcomb, the advisors, the people, the company he keeps, and they've been very successful. People have brought their politics to Indiana. Indiana is Republican in name only, and while they may profess to be a Republican, it's a super liberal state based on the taxes, based on the spending, based on the size of the government. Indiana is, we lie to ourselves, and we're a Democrat state that pretends to be Republican.
Part of their annual ranking of the top states for business, CNBC did this poll, and they said that Indiana was the 7th worst state to live and work in. However, it's great for businesses. It's the top 15. It's actually ranked number 13 most business-friendly state. So come work here, but it sucks to live here.
All right. When we come back, Casey, I don't like to fight with people, but if you are going to bring the fight to me, then I am more than willing to have it, and I will use all resources at my disposal. And so I didn't want to have a fight with a local government entity. However, they sent something into my mailbox, and if you are going to send something to my place where I live, then all bets are off. We're going to rip somebody's ass when we come back.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Hunter Biden is a grifter. But now we've got even more to demand investigations. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC. Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, your premier gun store. Over 1,200 firearms in stock and the largest selection of used firearms in the area. Premier Arms is home of the Buy Room. This exclusive, private, and secure room is where Premier Arms will buy your estate or special collection of firearms and jewelry. Premier Arms and PA Jewelers, their one-of-a-kind jewelry store located in the same building, are the largest buyers of firearms, firearm collections, and estate jewelry in the Midwest. Talk to Premier Arms today. 3754 South Green Street. Online at premierarms.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
There's no hiding from Bluebell Monster Cookie Dough Ice Cream. Creamy vanilla ice cream, peanut butter monster cookie dough, brown sugar, candy-coated chocolate, and dark chocolate flavored chunks. A taste so good, you'll need a bigger bowl.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at select Kroger stores and Walgreens.
Have you ever dropped off your documents for shredding and wondered what happened to them? At Quick Shred, documents are shred right in front of you at their retail location on East 62nd Street. No appointment needed and convenient curbside assistance is provided. No matter how big or how small, they shred it all. You leave knowing your confidential information has been completely destroyed. Quick Shred is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. Quick Shred at 62nd and Binford Boulevard. Quick Shred.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with Welcome Arms, your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a motherload of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650. 9650.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Lights, yeah. Lights, yeah.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. You've been waving around this piece of mail all morning long. Would you please tell me, what are you dealing with now?
Well, look, I didn't intend to hijack this final segment with how awful and hypocritical and disingenuous government is, but if they're going to send it to my house,
it's free game.
And if they're going to just spend my money in the process to do it, we're going to point out what lying sacks of crap so many people in the government actually are. That's fair, right?
Yeah,
And look,
that's what we're here for.
Leave me alone, and I will leave you alone. But if you're going to stick it right in my face, then I'm going to point out to some people say there's nobody listening, but the statistics show there's tens of thousands of people listening, at any given time. So I just thought I would take the opportunity to do this. So, look, I live in a little corner, the west side of Indianapolis. Once upon a time, it was a very fabulous place to live, and it was sort of like, God's little garden in suburbia. And well, then they decided they were just going to completely destroy it. It's the town of Brownsburg. You've been there several times, and I remember this is just such an example of everything we talk about on this show about just how willfully people in positions of power lie in order to try to get their way. And then once they get caught in the lie, they show no remorse for it whatsoever. And this is true at all levels of government. And, well, I have the platform to point out when it happens where I live, but it's happening where you live too. And people, you have to open your eyes because these people keep doing it and they keep getting away with it. So several years ago, way back when I was still in the government, the superintendent in Brownsburg, his name is Jim Snap, and if you were to look up giant lying sack of crap in the dictionary, there would be a picture of that guy. He proceeded to parade a bunch of bus drivers into the town hall because what the school was doing was, back then, they were strong-arming tax money that went to the actual town of Brownsburg. And because they couldn't get their fiscal house in order, they being the school, they were strong-arming that money from the town to pay a lot of their bills.
Okay.
And when I got elected, I said, well, that's done with because that money's supposed to be used for, things like roads and sidewalks and infrastructure. And, well, the fact that you can't get your crap together isn't my problem. And so we're done letting you strong-arm this money from the town.
Yeah.
And instead of doing the noble thing, the right thing, the thing that any decent person would do, which is, say, you're right, Rob. We really have a spending problem in the school corporation, and, well, we're going to get that taken care of. The lying sack of crap superintendent, Jim Snap, proceeded to convince a whole bunch of bus drivers that they were going to be fired if he wasn't able to continue to successfully strong-arm money from the town of Brownsburg. And these bus drivers were paraded into the town hall. And look, these bus drivers very genuinely believed, because their boss told them
they were going to be fired.
Oh, yes. Sure. No, they were innocent victims in all of this. They were literally hostages in the whole thing. And they were crying and they were screaming and they were saying awful things to me. And I kept telling them, you people are being used. You are being used and manipulated by this power-hungry egomaniac, the sack of crap Superintendent Jim Snap. You're not going to be fired. No one's going to lose their job. Nothing's going to happen. And boy, they were wailing and they were speaking in the public meeting. And I felt so bad for these people. And well, gosh darn it, Casey, that was probably about 10 years ago that happened. And I got a mailer the other day. I paid for it, right? It's a taxpayer-funded mailer. It came from...
Did you like it?
Well, I mean, it's very well done, right?
Yeah.
It's very... it's the finest cardboard that money could buy.
Cardstock is good.
I mean, the ink is very
Double-sided.
nice. It is. I mean, no expense was spared in this mailer that went out.
Sure.
And it came from the
Only the best for you.
Well, absolutely, right?
You paid for it,
absolutely.
So pick out something nice.
It was from the Brownsburg Community School Corporation, and I'm reading this over, and I'm looking at it very carefully, and it's begging people to come work for them, which is really wild because we always hear Brownsburg is the #1 school system. We're the best in the state. I mean, of course, like 37% of our kids aren't passing the test by which we judge that we're #1, but, we're #1.
Sure.
And you would think that people left and right would be lining up, Casey, just lining up to work for the #1 school corporation in the entire state of India. Of course, I guess if there's, national news stories about how some of your employees are forcing kids to eat vomit, well, then, I guess maybe that would deter people.
Not
from
everybody wants to associate with that.
But,
sure.
I was reading this mailer and I'm thinking, well, gosh darn it, they want me, Rob Kendall, because they sent it to my house. They thought maybe I will just go in and apply for a job.
Yeah.
Because I have so many questions about the school corporation.
Right.
That, that's how it works in an interview. You ask some questions about me. I ask some questions about you. So I really am considering applying for one of these jobs here at the school corporation.
Yeah, what kind of jobs they have?
Well, gosh darn it, they've got custodial services on here, and they've got nutrition services on here, and then I get to the bottom, and what do you know? Bus drivers.
What?
It says right here, bus drivers, bus monitors, and they describe it as competitive pay with paid training.
Nice.
So that is really weird because once upon a time, there was a world where if the school corporation didn't strong-arm money from the town of Brownsburg, all the bus drivers could be fired.
And now they're begging for bus drivers.
Now they're begging for people to apply to be bus drivers. So, I want to assume, Casey, that, this is just an innocent mistake and that the superintendent, the lying sack of crap, Jim Snap, that he just misspoke and he was misinformed. But, I can't do that, Casey, because this is the same guy who once said that kids could be at risk of dying in the hallways of an active shooter if we didn't raise taxes by $100 million. And then, the taxes weren't raised by $100 million, and yet no kids have died in the hallways because they did all the construction they were going to do anyway, which means they didn't need the $100 million to begin with. But, it just really calls it. Oh, this is also the same guy who once said, we're not rehiring the DEI officer in the Brownsburg School Corporation. And then,
no, they just rehired somebody with a different title.
That's all the DEI descriptions. I mean,
rebrand.
We could be here for 7 days, and of course, we got to get to a commercial break here eventually. So we can't spend all the time talking about all the lies the lying sack of crap Superintendent Jim Snap has been caught in. But I wanted to point this out that, gosh darn it, Jim, I appreciate you sending this to my house, and I really think I am going to go to this website here, and I am going to apply for a job, and I really hope that you were sincere in. I mean, you would think he would be sincere because he
sent it directly to your house.
Well, he wasted taxpayer money to send it to my house. He would definitely want me to apply.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll do this today.
Yeah.
I'm going to apply for this job.
Okay.
I'll walk everybody through the employment process.
Sure.
And then I'll keep everybody abreast and apprised.
I can't wait for you to get your CDL license so you can start driving the bus.
I mean, this is ridiculous, right?
Yep.
On one hand, you people could all be fired if the evil, awful Rob Kendall doesn't allow us to strong-arm this money. And then here we are all these years later. Oh, please, we need bus drivers so bad. Please, please, please apply to be a bus driver. People, look, we're talking about Brownsburg, but this is happening. There's a very good chance where you live, it's the same type of people doing the same type of stuff. Wake the hell up!
All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Good job today. And on that note, we're out of here. We're going to see you tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Planning on inviting friends and family over this summer? Everyone knows the hustle to get the house looking perfect, but there's one thing you can't fix on your own. The stuck windows and doors, drywall cracks, uneven floors, bugs, or mold and mildew smells. Things that stand out. Indiana Foundation Service knows that all of these signs point to major damage building up in your foundation, crawl space, or basement, and it'll only get worse over time. Don't worry. With a free inspection from Indiana Foundation Service, the team's experts will identify your home's issue at the source. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Visit IndianaFoundation.com today to book your free inspection with a no-obligation quote included. That's IndianaFoundation.com. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they're the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation with a few words about summer. Searing, scorching, sweating, sweltering, blazing, blistering, burning, baking, feeling the heat, are we? High temps aren't the only thing getting you hot under the collar. Wait till you see your energy bills and your AC repair bills. The solution? I recommend my friends at Window Nation for new energy-efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool, your energy bill sinks as low as it can go, and your AC will avoid any premature breakdown.
And not to mention the incredible savings Window Nation is offering right now. With every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 free windows. Plus, you'll put 0 down, make 0 payments